The Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages, two clans that wielded incredible power just 500 years ago. The clans of the Overseer, watching over us all with the eyes of the world. The power to govern light and darkness.
Did you miss me? You want to play with Bayonetta?
This Overseer is the one who created the eyes of the world for humanity. The same ones that the clans held on to so hard. The Overseer was the true creator. The true god of the human realm. The god of chaos.
The sacred mountain of Fimbulventr. The joint's supposed to be the link between Inferno and Paradiso. They say there is an entrance to Inferno, the gates of hell, somewhere on this mountain. No one knows where, though.
Huh? You could see me?
Because we're both in Purgatorio.
Purgatorio? You can't open the road to Fimbulventr without my powers. So, what do you say?
Umbra Witch? Or shall I call you Bayonetta?
A Lumen Sage. Cheeky. No one bothered telling me any of your kind survived.
Your impudence will cost you your life, Witch!
Jean, I'm on my way. Just behave yourself for a bit longer.
with my plans for the last time, Mr. Bond.
Welcome back to Nintendo Minute. We have a banner up.
What's going on?
It's your birthday.
Is it?
You're older.
Oh, now I know.
Than ever.
Older.
Now. This is your 50th birthday, right?
It's my 50th, and next year your 60th. What do you know?
Oh, yeah. Sure. What a way to celebrate than play a really fun party game called One Two Switch. One Two Switch or 50?
With two of my best friends.
Who's Kit? I don't know. I don't know who Kit is. Sorry.
You're here for me, clearly.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yes. Happy birthday, Kristen.
So we're here with some special guests. We have Lamar, Jimmy,
Hi.
Kate, and Mike. We're all here to celebrate Kit's 50th birthday. It's going to be really fun. We're going to play some 1-2 switch. Before this video, Mike basically put us into teams.
Team Couch.
Team Couch.
And Team Chair.
V, Team Chair.
Team Chair.
So we're going to play 1-2 switch in shuffle mode, which is pretty fun because that just means you don't know what you're going to get. There's 28 games in here, so I think there's games that we probably all have never tried before, so you just never know what's going to come up. You could milk a cow, you could be dancing.
I'm not milking a cow.
You don't know.
You're dancing cow.
So you're dancing.
I will milk that cow.
All right, and then we're going to keep some scores, right? So we'll have like a virtual scoreboard like somewhere on the screen. So we're going to get shuffle mode for 1-2 switch set up and we'll be right back.
Boxing.
I get to punch someone in the face.
Okay, who's going to play boxing gym on your...
I'm gonna do this.
It's you.
Okay, you want to do
It's
this?
you, Lamar.
Oh.
You're in it to win it. You can do it.
I gotta kick.
Let's go.
Whoa. All right, so...
And let's just, for the record, I've never been in a fight. Okay, how you do it?
So this one, I'm worried about how close you are to me.
I'm not gonna hit you hard. Hard. Straight punch. Wait. Oh. Rapid fire.
Please don't hurt each other.
In every direction.
Okay.
That's the most I've worked out in years.
Tail to tape.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Oh. Team Couch. Team Couch. Team Couch.
That wasn't embarrassing.
It wasn't dancing.
It wasn't dancing.
So I was like, I'll do that.
Hey, look, the game is still young. The dancing could come. You don't know. I hope it's runaway.
I believe in you, Kate.
I don't know if I'm enough room.
Perfect for you. Perfect.
I haven't played this, but I bet I'm gonna.
I haven't either, actually. The fire.
Yes! Chris is not doing anything. She's not doing anything over there.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Other than that's happening.
Yay! Thank you. I know.
Oh, we're so close.
I'm gonna shuffle.
Oh.
Oh. We need a table for this. Good thing we have this thing right here.
Hello?
It perfectly replicated my high school experience. Just waiting for that phone call.
It was so close.
Oh!
And then like no one's on the other side. Oh. Oh, dang it. I wanted to do this one so good.
Okay. No.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
Put your hands on your shoulders, right? Or
On your hips.
hips?
Those are your shoulders.
Should I put it in my muffin top or?
I love the faces.
Get to the stage and face the crowd.
Oh my gosh.
Lamar's got more wiggle.
Oh! He killed me.
He really did it though. He really did it.
All right.
Very close.
Good one.
Winner.
I would have had a fun time at that. I'm gonna put that on my own.
Kid might have technically won, but you looked better.
You did.
Thank you.
You looked very good. It's
That's
like
what I'd expect from Team Chair.
something you're meant to do.
Oh.
Chess. Yes.
Go ahead, boy.
Are you gonna make some pirate noises? Arr!
Jimmy!
No!
Oh!
Let him get the doubloons.
You were very distracting. This is a really good one.
I mean, Mike, you keep a lot of plate spinners here at the office. You'd be pretty good at this, right? Huh?
So many years of practice.
You're an A+ plate spinner.
The good news is I'm not afraid to hit Mike.
Punch her in the face.
No!
This might get innocence. This might get actually violent.
Oh, look
I think there was some pent up anger there from earlier.
I was too concerned with smacking him.
You were like tentative. You have to have no fear to smack a coworker in this game. I really don't know where we are. Who's winning?
Please don't milk. Please don't milk.
We're all winning, Krista.
We're all winners. This one. Jimmy wants to milk.
I know.
Jimmy and Kit should do it.
Wrap it up with
go.
legs akimbo.
Legs a Jimbo.
You see the button?
I get it. eye contact, Kip.
Feel bad for your cow.
I don't.
Does cow?
So look at your hands as you milk.
That stream is.
Yeah, that's true.
Streaming.
I'm not looking at my hands. I'm looking at Jimmy.
I would not want to stare at you while I was milking.
Now I'm looking at you, Lamar.
I'm now looking down like this. Jimmy, you're a horrible milker.
Oh no! The magic of friendship is not alive with this cow.
What?
I'm not surprised.
Did I forget the buttons? I think I forgot the buttons to use.
You were coming around to the true power of friendship by looking me in the eye, which distracted you, I think.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm legitimately disappointed.
No! We can do a rematch later. Not right now.
Okay. Yeah.
We gotta end this video right now.
Yeah.
All right, on that game of milk, we shall end this video.
Best birthday ever.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, thanks guys for being here.
Thank you for having
He
me.
doesn't have any real friends, so we have to invite you
Where
guys
can
to
people
come shoot a
find you
video.
if they want to see more?
As my grandpa says, I make movies in the laptops. You can
sure
find,
do.
You can find them. Just look up Jimmy Wetzel on YouTube. You'll find me. Cool.
Yeah, Lamar Wilson on YouTube. Yeah.
And
Everywhere.
we'll link it all below.
Thank you.
So it's super easy.
This
to
was
find
fun.
them.
Yeah.
This is really
My
fun.
first time to playing with the Switch. I love it.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Kate and Mike as well for your amazing participation in many of the games.
You're welcome.
Team Couch.
Someone in the comments, tally up the wins and losses for us.
Yeah.
And we'll read
Yeah.
Or something.
Because I didn't pay attention.
Me neither.
Yeah.
All right, and remember,
Nintendo Minute is never a minute.
see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Never a minute. Ever.
Never.
For those that are wondering, this is how we do the 9-player. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but you tether two controllers and they act independently from each other. Yeah. And you just gotta make sure you don't run away from your friend.
What? What are you doing? Get back to work. Psych!
Okay.
Does anyone want to come up?
So anybody want to, yeah, come on up and play?
Volunteer? Oh, wait.
Yes.
Rated T14, 153 Hand Video Poker by Skunk Software. One of the most fun card games you can play alone. 153 Hand Video Poker fills your screen with multiple hands. After the hands are dealt, you will hear a corresponding piano chord based on the rank of that hand. So winning will be music to your ears. Out now.
We gotta hit and run.
Welcome back to Nintendo Minute. So, can't believe it, but we are back at the end of the year once more.
And that means the grandest tradition of all.
Game of the Year!
Game of the Year.
Yay! But this is the third annual Game of the Year.
Is it?
Nintendo Minute, maybe.
I lost track.
But this year we're going to do 2 Game of the Year videos. So this is our first one. And then we'll do a second one following this where we will reveal the ultimate category, which is Game of the Year.
I think we've got 8 categories. We're going to do a winner and a runner-up.
And then what we're going to do this time to make sure that you guys are letting us know what your favorites are this year is we're going to have some voting cards somewhere on the screen. Will be a place where you can click down and vote, so you can vote along with us on what you think is the coolest games in each of these categories. And then we'll also be doing a fun sweepstakes, so stay tuned to the end of this video and we'll tell you how you can enter for a chance to win. So,
first category.
Get into it.
Best box art.
Yes. I have yours.
And I have yours,
yes,
believe
you do.
it or not. Holding it hostage.
Do you want to...
I'm going to stealthily read yours right now.
Okay, go. Go.
Paper Mario Color Splash. Yes, that's a nice one.
That's a good choice, right?
But it's not mine. It's not what I chose. No.
I'm going to just tell you the reason why I chose it. The game itself has a very like unique art style, right? Paper Mario Color Splash is very like crafty. It has like this, you know, painterly kind of effect on it, and that is reflected so well in the box art. That is why this is my choice.
Great.
Do you agree?
Now the real winner is...
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. The real winner is Best Box Art, Fire Emblem Fates.
Yes, and I'm surprised this wasn't even your runner-up.
Excuse me, can we clarify which Fire Emblem Fates?
All of them. Because they go together. It's part of a bigger piece.
I see.
You know, the 2 versions, you got one family on one... Well, that
3
too.
versions?
The one family on one side, the other family together, they really sort of tells the story of, you know, what the tale you were about to go on, and I just like the game's art style so much, and all of those characters have their own sort of look and personality. That's the right choice.
It's not. But anyways, you guys can decide. Vote. You can vote and tell us what you think is the best. All right, category number 2. Story.
Best story. Okay, not just a story. It's not just any story. It's the best story.
The best story. Yeah. Can I read yours first?
If you want to, go ahead.
I really do. Guess what? It's Fire Emblem Fates.
also Fire Emblem Fates. Will Fire Emblem Fates sweep the awards for me?
No.
Do you know this?
I don't know.
Did you peek at my... You peeked.
I didn't peek. Can you read mine really quick so we can talk about it?
Oh, it's also Fire Emblem Fates. I'm like, why is she making me do this?
Come on.
She's not going to let me talk.
I agree with you on this one for once.
Yes.
But definitely, Fire Emblem series has been very well known for the story. And I think this one, because you had the 3 different games, made it more exciting than ever, right? Because I played all 3. And I played Conquest, Revelations, and then Birthright, which is like a weird order to play it in, but I kind of loved it because you get to see all different sides of this like family struggle and these choices that you're making, and it was so... There was so much detail in the story, and I really loved that.
It's not just a static story. You know, depending on the version you're going, can go in different directions. Maybe some characters that you have don't make it. That's not your concern because you just restart the game. I don't. I play it. I play it the right way.
The heartless way.
So many these characters, you can get deep into their backstory. There's just so much to this, and it was all just very entertaining.
Yeah, and this time your main character was such an integral part of the story as well. So I really like that part. But I agree with you. I don't agree with the way you play Fire Emblem, but I do agree with you that this is the best story of the year.
Okay.
Okay. This is a fun category.
I like this.
I think. Biggest surprise.
I mean, sometimes a game just comes out of nowhere and you're like, whoa, what's this?
Sometimes you're very resistant to games and you're like, this game is not going to be good. And then somehow you get convinced to play it and then you're like, this is amazing.
So I have a prediction that I think we're going to have the same.
I think so too. Should we do it together?
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Wow.
Yes.
Pocket Card
Jockey.
Again, my dramatic pause. You didn't let me do it.
No, never. Okay, let's talk about Pocket Card Jockey. The premise of the game is like a solitaire-esque card game where you are also
it's typically what solitaire is. Yeah.
Ponies?
Yeah.
I mean, again, when someone told me about this game, I think it was Bill Trinan actually about this game, and he was like going on and on about this weird game, and I was like, you're weird.
Yeah,
and
we hear about these games before they come out, and sometimes it's like, yes, I'm in, tell me about that. And this one, it was like...
just like a kind of a head scratch.
You lost me.
You know that emoji
Try
where
again.
you're like... That was me when I heard about Pocket Card Jockey.
That's exactly what it was.
I mean, I like card games and I like ponies. So I guess that could work.
In this Office, this game took the Office by storm.
It was.
Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
And people were saying, I think I said it too, this is a Game of the Year contender.
Definitely.
Who knows? Game of the Year, we're going to do in our next video.
We were addicted.
Is this the Game of the Year? For you? For us? Maybe.
It could be. You don't know.
We don't know.
People were sharing their pony QR codes.
Yes.
We were like comparing stats. We were deep into Pocket Card Jockey. Anyways.
Biggest surprise.
I'm so glad
that
you agreed with me that was a huge surprise, I think, for not just
2 out of 3 agrees so far. What do you know? You can't keep this up.
No, we won't.
Best multiplayer.
Okay, I'm going to read yours first.
Okay.
Pokken Tournament.
Yes.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Do you want to tell me why?
Pokken Tournament.
And the winner is Pokken Tournament.
First of all, I love Machamp. We all know this.
Yes.
The ability to just trash your opponents as Machamp, very exciting. But
I want to see Pokemon in a very different way.
We played. It's just one of those multiplayer games where even if you're not at the same skill level, it ends up being a really exciting match.
Absolutely.
In a way you've never seen Pokemon before, and the way that they layered in those support Pokemon and all of that. It's just a game that you just keep coming back to, and you can just keep learning too. Like, I played this game online as well. I got worked over a lot.
People got good.
But I never felt discouraged. I felt myself getting better. It's everything you want out of a good multiplayer game.
Yeah, I think this was actually a pretty surprising game, because first you just didn't expect to see Pokemon in this way. So it was really fresh and new, and it was something that was really fun for the 20th anniversary. And then we did like those series of tournaments where we even had like pro tournament players.
Those were exciting.
Come and play Pokken Tournament, and the skill level that was able to be put into that game was really amazing. Like, you can play totally as just, casually, which is what I did, or you can literally play like competitive Pokken Tournament. It ended up being an Evo, and pretty cool.
Or you can just play as Machamp and stomp people.
Or you could do that.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
It's not nice.
Your pick.
My pick.
Star Fox Zero.
Unconventional.
See the high energy that I deliver these results with?
Pokken Tournament.
Pokken Tournament. Star Fox Zero!
Stop it, you're being weird. Star Fox Zero. So I actually played the entire game in multiplayer. And I'm really, really bad at like games. I think maybe this is why I liked playing in multiplayer, because it was like a fun cooperative multiplayer.
Different kind of multiplayer.
Yeah, see, I like cooperative multiplayer games way more than competitive. Because, again, I'm not very good, so I don't want to like keep losing. So it was really fun. Actually, it was a pretty great multiplayer experience, because you do feel like each person has a specific role that they're playing.
You need to communicate as well.
You need to communicate. You're kind of going through the story mode together as well, so you feel like you're accomplishing a shared goal. And that last boss, I don't know how people can do it without multiplayer. It was really hard. Even in multiplayer mode, it was tough. But I had a lot of fun playing that game in multiplayer mode, so if you haven't tried it yet in co-op mode, you should definitely give it a try.
You had a lot of fun with the game. I had a lot of fun going through these picks.
Yes, this was fun.
Mostly my own.
I mean, 2 and 4 were the same, so I don't know what you're like.
What do you think, Goomba? Nope.
Wow. Okay, on that note, so we hope that you're voting along with us in the voting section, which is I don't know where still, but somewhere on the screen. So, what do you guys think?
It gets better.
Yes, we are going to give away some stuffs in this video. We're actually going to give you guys
all of our
winning choices. So you'll get a lovely package with all the winning choices. So here's how you can enter for a chance to win. So make sure that you're subscribed to the Nintendo YouTube channel, which is the channel you're watching this video on right now. And then give this video a thumbs up. And then in the comment section below, let us know what your picks are in these 4 categories. And then please use the hashtag #SweepsEntry so we can put you into our drawing for a random chance to win some awesome prizes. So we hope that you guys vote and play along with us and let us know what your winners are this year.
That's a mouthful. Good job by you.
I know.
Don't forget,
breathe.
Second video, the last, we're going out with a bang next week, Game of the Year.
Game of the Year. Okay, this is the end of this video, and remember,
Nintendo Minute is never a minute.
See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Skyward Wing playing as Ribbon Girl. Meanwhile, Zurk playing as Twintelle. Those are the 2 characters that will take place in the grand finals. Let's take a closer look at those characters with a profile first on Ribbon Girl. And we've talked about before, her ability to jump and leap over everything is so impressive as well too, using those 4 jumps. But as we saw with Skyward Wing D1, not necessarily spamming that and making sure to keep his opponent off guard and take us through some of the arms that come with Ribbon Girl as far as what she could possibly do. And let's start with that first arm of the Sparky.
Yeah, the Sparky, it's a medium weight arm, and it also has the electric attribute. With this electric attribute will shock the opponent, leaving both of their arms incapacitated, and because of that, you'll get a free grab or a free rush follow-up. And as far as the popper is concerned, it is a wind attack which blows the opponents away, giving you an opportunity to follow up with another juggle. It is a light multi-shot kind of arm, so because of that it can lose to mediums and heavies. And last but not least, the Slap-O-Mander, which is fire, and that knocks down the opponents if charged, and it's a medium weight.
We saw Skyward Wing go with those double Slap-O-Manders. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl, Skyward Wing, the only thing standing in their way of this championship is going to, of course, be Zurk with Twintelle. And as we take a closer look at Twintelle and what she'll bring to the game, Vicky, you look at Twintelle's ability to really slow down those punches as they come. And we saw Zurk use it a couple times as well too, but what have you liked about people that have played with Twintelle and what she can bring to a match?
Well, in particular regarding Zurk and seeing how he played Twintelle, I really like the fact that he would hold glide up in the air. He could attack from that glide as well as avoid punches that are coming at him, so he could slow them down and kind of shimshade his way away from that punch and attack on his own. As D1 mentioned, he was able to control his arms, hold them at the ready, so that way whenever a punch was coming at him, he was able to shield it and get away with it.
As we get set for the grand finals, between Twintelle, Ribbon Girl represented by Skyward Wing, Twintelle represented by Zerk. Let's take this to a different stage here, D1. Why don't we do that? And so you look at the Sky Arena that these two will be facing off in the grand finals. What can you say about that particular stage, and what do we expect?
I feel like this is a pretty balanced stage. So at this point, it's all about the best person on that day, winning.
Let's get set for the grand finals of the 2017 ARMS Open Invitational. Please welcome your two finalists, Skyward Wing taking on Zerk in a best 3 out of 5 right now. Zerk going with Twintelle, Skyward Wing riding all the way with Ribbon Girl. This is going to be very interesting, Vicky, because we've seen Ribbon Girl really use those double Slap-O-Manders to guide Skyward Wing to victory. Meanwhile, Zerk, it was all about that change to the Parasol comboed with the Chilla that allowed Zerk to really get the upper hand in the semifinals.
And it's really interesting to see how well Ribbon Girl's been doing between the test punch and the tournament that we're having at the very moment. She is one of the 3 main beginner characters that you could play in the game of ARMS.
D1.
And I just really want to see Byte and Bart come up on stage, man. Do you guys want to see Byte and Bart? See, the people like
to see very exciting stuff going on in this grand finals. As we mentioned, it's 3 out of 5. You have to win 3 games. We're not going to let you get away by just winning 2. You've got to be a little bit more consistent. Sky Arena, all these matches in the grand finals taking place. Ribbon Girl, though, looking like going with the Sparky and Slap-O-Mander. Twintelle, double Chillas. Let's get this one started right now. Both opponents getting a feel for each other. First throws. Oh, that throw negated with a charge. Double Chilla right there, followed by a throw.
But notice how Skyward Wing understands that if you're frozen, that's not a free grab, so he kept going for those punches to stop the attempt.
Keeping Ribbon Girl off balance. Meanwhile, Twintelle trying to get another grab, and that's a critical one. Long distance grab right there that's going to turn the tide early in this one, Vicky.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing Twintelle. I was about to say Twintelle hasn't even got 1 damage on her, but manages to bring it back. Ribbon Girl needs to find her footing back onto the stage. She could still do this. The rush attack is coming up very soon.
3 grabs so far for Twintelle. What we're seeing, D1, is Ribbon Girl's getting knocked down to the lower level and having to waste one of those multiple jumps just to get back up.
I mean, can we talk about the fact that Twintelle has, like, almost perfect health? Like,
Twintelle flawless. Hair is still looking on fleek. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl under 30% health at this point. 2 rush attacks ready to go at this point. Ribbon Girl, oh, gonna miss with the right Slap-O-Mander. Meanwhile, Twintelle gonna get the grab and toss off at this point. And Vicky, how impressive.
And that's the patience that we were talking about that Zerk had to progress to where he is right now in the bracket.
Both players still have that rush attack ready to go. Zerk taking the opening round in his first game in the best 3 of 5 grand finals. And yet another throw in D1. What can Ribbon Girl do to try to avoid these throws and stop getting thrown around this Sky Arena?
I mean, Ribbon Girl having 2 air dashes and 4 jumps, there are a lot of options at her disposal. But the thing is, Zerk is just really hard to hit.
Vicky, we talked about those core mechanics in all fighting games that allow you to be successful. Zerk certainly showing that the ability to block all the rush attacks he's faced.
He's continuously blocking all the rush attacks, but at the same time, using to his advantage wherever his opponent are, especially in the air. Ribbon Girl does like those mid-air jumps, and he's taking advantage, and that is why he was able to land those rush attacks.
Twintelle's got Ribbon Girl to less than 50% health. Meanwhile, that throw's going to be negated by the Slap-O-Mander. Slap-O-Mander still moving to the left and right there. Meanwhile, double Chilla's going to be negated by a couple of hits of that Slap-O-Mander. It seems like in D1, if you get knocked to that outer area on the mesh that's lower, get another block by Zerk and that rush attack. If you get to that lower level, you really seem to be at a disadvantage here, D1.
Yeah, it looks like whoever has the high ground definitely has the advantage here, but, I mean, you could just get right back into the fray as right now we have Zerk, who's actually keeping the high ground, making it difficult for Ribbon Girl to get back on, and Zerk taking the first game.
Double Chillas for a stone cold KO, and that'll be the first game point in this grand finals match. That'll go to Zerk, and once again, Zerk D1 doing a fine job of just making sure he could control the top stage of that Sky Arena and keeping Ribbon Girl down at the bottom, where Ribbon Girl had to waste a jump to get up every single time.
Yep, right now this man has Florida on his back. Representing Miami is Zerk from the fighting game community too, so you know there are a lot of people who are probably cheering for him all the way back at home.
Let's get set for our second game here, and you look at Ribbon Girl, Vicky, and what she could possibly do to get back and establish control of that top area. We're going to stick in Sky Arena, so these two players, Skyward Wing, Zerk, down to our championship grand final match, are going to have to make sure they get familiar with this stage.
As we did mention, the higher ground is exactly where you want to be. Ribbon Girl already starting out pretty strong, better than the last game as what we saw, managing to get that grab off the arena, 150 damage right off the bat right there.
Keep an eye on Ribbon Girl, trading out those Slapamanders for double Sparkies here, D1. What's the logic behind that decision?
So having the double Sparkies means Ribbon Girl has a higher chance of actually electrocuting the opponent and then getting a free grab opportunity. But it looks like we see a bit of a change up here with Skyward Wing's play. He's a little bit more defensive, trying to watch what Zerk is going for, but still, even after going for that grab attempt, Zerk counters back with the grab himself.
Excellent awareness and reaction to get the throw on Ribbon Girl. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl can miss with another throw, although here comes the rush attack from Ribbon Girl, and then connects. Bop, 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 gonna knock Twintelle back, D1.
And the reason that connected too is because Zerk actually had an option to block, but he dodged.
Oh, Twintelle gonna negate the throw, however, can't necessarily connect. Ribbon Girl able to avoid the rush attack from Twintelle. Ribbon Girl got a couple Sparkies charged at this point, double Chillas. And the throw attempt by Ribbon Girl going to be blocked. A 1-2 punch by Twintelle at this point. Both fighters under 50%. Yet another grab for Twintelle right there, Vicky.
And that is why we could have seen a possible arm change as well, because of the fact that the shock element deactivates the opponent's arms. They won't be getting frozen anymore.
Ribbon Girl trying to charge those Sparkies. Meanwhile, Twintelle dancing and skating around the ring left and right, getting the throw on Ribbon Girl. That's going to almost do it for this round. Meanwhile, Twintelle backing up. Just 8 seconds left. Ribbon Girl's going to have to act fast. But no, you see the throw attempt. The shards of green illuminating the screen being negated by that Sparky thrown to the right.
Yep, it's definitely easy to counter. And notice how both players have a lot of meter going into the next match, especially Zerk. Since he has the lead, he could actually sit on that rush when the time is right and close the second game out.
Zerk trying to get the throw, connects on yet another long throw at this point. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl sticking with the double Sparky, trying to charge those. Rush attack ready to go for Twintelle, going to dodge. The throw attempt by Ribbon Girl connects with the 1-2. Ribbon Girl charging those Sparkies. Meanwhile, Twintelle has a rush attack ready to go. Ribbon Girl, ooh, do you think that was maybe on accident right there, Vicky?
Possibly Ribbon Girl trying to get Twintelle kind of getting up from being knocked down from all those punches, but unfortunately mistiming it.
Twintelle with the rush attack ready to go. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl dancing and trying to get those double Sparkies on Twintelle, getting knocked down. And once again, D1, Zerk doing a fine job of holding down the fort up top and keeping Ribbon Girl and the gallows below.
Yeah, and right now, because of this, we actually see Skyward Wing struggling to figure out which kind of strategy works the best. You see Skyward Wing going for shields. You see Skyward Wing opting to jump in the air or even try to throw out swings. But look at this. Zerk just remains with like a decent amount of health.
1-2 double Chilla hit right there, and the rush attack is ready to go for Twintelle, just keeping Ribbon Girl at bay. 35 seconds left in this one. Ribbon Girl with about 25% health. No, it's down to 15. You wonder if that rush attack's going to be deployed. Enough to maybe get chip damage for the KO. Here comes the rush attack. Double rush attacks, though. Ribbon Girl going to counter at the perfect time. And it's going to keep Ribbon Girl alive. Twintelle with about 50% life. Meanwhile, D1, what are we seeing here?
So that was actually good risk management by Zerk. If you notice how much health he had, he was actually able to take that risk with the rush attack and still maintain the lead. Now we are counting down to the last 6 seconds.
5 seconds left. Ribbon Girl has to do something fast. Meanwhile, Twintelle, look at this strategy. Baiting and just staying back outside the arm's length, and that'll be a second round victory, a second game point as well too. And you mentioned risk management, solid advice, whether it's from your investment banker or what you're doing here in ARMS. So you look at that, the smart play by Twintelle to make sure didn't overexpose herself.
Yes, you notice Zerk, he understood that he had a lead and he might as well just sit on it instead of taking any crazy risks and giving Skyward Wing any opportunity to inflict more damage on him.
Impressive victory by Zerk here, Vicky. And we go back to this level again, Sky Arena. This is the stage they're going to be using. And really, Zerk and Twintelle holding down that higher ground. We saw on that missed rush attack, those punches, they're hard to get up. And a change in strategy, double Slapamanders for Ribbon Girl. What's the thought process there in your opinion, Vicky?
Probably trying to cover all the wide range that we see Zerk go. Whenever he's hovering, he's always hovering side by side, trying to find that opening. That's why he doesn't release any of his punches, releases them one by one. And before he does so, look at him. Look how he waits for both his arms to come out before he throws out the other.
Another grab and throw by Twintelle. Don't forget, if Zerk can win both these rounds, He will be victorious in our grand final match for 2017 Arms Open Invitational Champion. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl staying at the bottom. You look at those double Slapamanders, D1. Those are probably the best arm that Ribbon Girl can equip to get up and over that elevated stage.
Yeah, definitely could help him out when it comes to stopping Zerk from just dodging all over the place. And right there, interrupting the rush. Great stuff. We actually see a bit of a change-up from Skyward Wing.
Twintelle trying to use the rush attack. Ribbon Girl saying, excuse me for a minute though. Ribbon Girl with the rush attack of her own, ready to go. However, getting knocked down to the lower area, still can't get to the top floor where Twintelle is just holding down the penthouse. Meanwhile, less than 50% health for Twintelle. Ribbon Girl got that rush attack ready to go. Neither fighter really taking advantage at this point. Ribbon Girl, here comes the rush attack, D1.
And it looks like Zerk already has his shield at the ready. Always dancing around the center, trying to basically give the opponent a false sense of security, like, hey, come in here, the water's fine. But actually it's not, as he immediately will just respond with an arm. But look at the health. It's getting closer, but Twintelle does have the option to use rush very soon.
8 seconds left, can't back up this time. Zerk with Twintelle gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive. 4 seconds left, next punch connects. Here comes the rush attack punch. Oh!
Close game!
Girl connects with the Slapamander on the left. And that's why we saw the decision, D1, to go with the Slapamanders, because you can create such a wide arcing punch to really throw off your opponent.
That was out of control. So first and foremost, you saw Zerk actually build meter when he went for the charge. That gave him the rush. But then when he opted to go for the rush, it was immediately interrupted. Here we go with Skyward Wing actually taking the first round.
And we see a little bit of a change from Zerk going with the Thunderbird and the Chilla. Vicky, you have to think that is to counter those Slapamanders and the distance that they can cover.
Oh, absolutely. This is the first arms change that we're actually seeing from Zerk in quite some time now. And we're seeing all these rush attacks happen to miss, but not for Zerk.
Rush attack by Skyward Wing, as we see right there, but you're saying right there for Zerk, the first time that Zerk couldn't block that rush attack. Vicky.
Absolutely, and a lot of times we were seeing all these rush attacks being missed or being blocked, and believe it or not, rush attacks punch away any arms coming towards them. So this means that you could actually convert into a rush attack.
Ribbon Girl holding down the top shelf for the main part. Twintelle has a rush attack ready to go, but Ribbon Girl now keeping Twintelle at bay here, D1.
Yeah, it looks like Zerk is going to have to time his Starstruck because he's getting hit with numerous arms and finally gets an opportunity to apply some pressure here to Skyward Wing.
Twintelle with the throw. That Slapamander trying to come to the side, but the Thunderbird going to stun and shock Ribbon Girl momentarily, negating 2 throws attempted by Ribbon Girl. Meanwhile, Twintelle has a rush attack ready to go, but still sizable amount of health for Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl yet. Here comes another rush attack in this same round. This could be a huge game point for Skyward Wing. Rush attack going to be blocked by Zerk here at this point. Zerk, though, getting ready to charge something up. Misses on the throw right there, D1.
And if you notice, Zerk actually was low on shield, but right there, Skyward Wing with 1 on the scoreboard.
It ain't over. It ain't over. Skyward Wing taking that game point, and we are now going to get set for a 4th game here, potentially, obviously. So you have the 2 games that first went to Zerk. Then Skyward Wing, not ready to give up and go home yet. Switching to the Slapamanders, Vicky, and that's proved to make life much more difficult for Zerk.
It really shows you how the different combinations of the arms could really help you get the upper advantage on your opponent. As we saw in that last game, his shield was running very low, and if you block way too much, your arms will actually get damaged and they will break.
Zerk still adjusting to the double Slapamanders, gonna go with the Parasol. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl hitting the early throw, and those Slapamanders have been her best friend on this Sky Arena, and Ribbon Girl trying to hold it down at the top end. D1, these Slapamanders, they're so unpredictable to try and block because they're fast, but they're also wide arcing.
Yeah, it's definitely like a whip kind of glove. Very difficult for people to try to jump over and air dash.
Twintelle trying to charge her punches, gets the grab and the throw on Ribbon Girl, knocking Ribbon Girl back down to the lower level, although that throw is going to be negated by a 1-2 counter with Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl trying to get those Slapamanders charged up. Meanwhile, Parasol is going to miss. Here comes the rush attack from Twintelle. Ribbon Girl tried to jump over, but no. Twintelle connects for 290 damage, and Twintelle being patient, connecting on one of those D1.
Yes, and patient is definitely the name of the game. I think what we see here is that Skyward Wing is waiting for Zerk to use all of his movement options in midair and then counterattack Zerk upon landing.
And Vicky, we see Twintelle right now knocked down to the bottom. How could Ribbon Girl keep Twintelle back at bay?
Ribbon Girl is doing a fantastic job at playing the patient game that we were seeing earlier from Zerk, and now Zerk has changed the game and is deciding to be very aggressive, jumping into the air, getting hit by that rush attack, dealing immense amount of damage.
The perfectly timed rush attack to counter and destroy the throw attempt from Zerk, as Skyward Wing continuing to hold down fort on the Sky Arena. Very impressive, D1.
We're getting close to actually having a real match here in the grand finals of the EVE 2017 ARMS Invitational.
2-1 on the games. First player to get to 3 games will be victorious. Zerk with the lead right now with 2 games, although all the momentum right now seems to be in Skyward Wings' corner, as Ribbon Girl and those Slap-O-Manders has been a puzzle that Twintelle can't solve quite yet. Meanwhile, both fighters still just keeping at bay, connected by Twintelle, early advantage, and the rush attack ready to go. Twintelle going to charge both Chillas at this point, going back to the tried and true double ice arm combination that works so well, connecting on the throw here, Vicky, and knocking Ribbon Girl back down to the lower part where Zerk had so much success earlier on.
Absolutely, having her on the bottom part of the stage, but she manages to get her footing back, to get the neutral. Now they both have to find their close range attacks. That is where the most pressure is going to be held at.
Twintelle getting the nice 1-2 punch. Here comes the grab, but no, it's negated once again, but it's locked in time, D1. And Twintelle keeping enough distance to be able to counter and block that rush attack by Ribbon Girl.
Yeah, right there. Zerk's arms were actually slightly damaged, as you saw the caution signs on both of his arms, but he gets the counter. Oh, actually counters the rush with the grab. Great stuff by Skyward Wing.
Twintelle just too late, misses the bust on the rush attack. However, Ribbon Girl gets the throw and knocks Twintelle down. However, Twintelle's got plenty of health. You mentioned being patient and risk management at this point. If you're Twintelle, Ribbon Girl with just a thread of life left at this point. Twintelle trying to get the knockout, forces to a third and potentially decisive round. Ribbon Girl, she's dancing in the air, but no, can't avoid that grab and throw. And Zerk gonna go ahead and take that round, Vicky. And now Zerk is just 1 round away from the ARMS Open Invitational Championship.
And that was great awareness from Zerk. He was able to grab his opponent only because he was jumping in the air way too much, and instead of throwing out any punches, he was able to grab right below him as he landed.
Twintelle dual Chilla's going to connect on the throw right there, knock Ribbon Girl back down to the lower part. Twintelle trying to be very cautious, staying up top, keeping Ribbon Girl at bay, not necessarily getting too close, leaving plenty of time to read those double Slap-O-Manders. But yet again, here we go, decisive thing right there, D1. Oh, but it's just a little bit of that rush attack left as Twintelle able to negate most of that damage.
Oh, and here's the rush start right here after that grab, but actually it looks like Skyward Wing willing to wait out Zerk. And there it is, a beautiful counterattack over those grabs. With all those jumps that Ribbon Girl has, it's going to be really hard to pin her down.
Rush attack going to be blocked by Ribbon Girl, so no rush attack is connected yet in this round. Don't forget, if Zerk as Twintelle is victorious, will be our tournament champion. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl trying to force a decisive game 5 in this match set here. Meanwhile, Twintelle, Ribbon Girl getting pushed back. Ribbon Girl trying to put some more pressure on Twintelle, going to charge those Slap-O-Manders. Dual Chillas charge. They're missing, and both of our fighters right now can't really quite connect. Although, there's the connection you want right there, Vicky. The rush attack by Ribbon Girl going to do a nice chunk of damage.
And the rush attack from Skyward Wing exactly doing what Zerk did to him earlier, catching his landing in the air. Zerk does love to hover in the air for quite some time to counter those punches.
23 seconds left, keep an eye on the clock. Twintelle with the throw and a rush attack ready to go, D1. This could be a pivotal point of this match. If Zerk wants to get this championship, here comes another throw. Ribbon Girl down to the last couple bits of life. A rush attack ready to go for Twintelle. 10 seconds away. Are you just gonna sit back, wait, and get your championship? Or will Twintelle get the KO for the championship, D1?
But keep your eyes on the rush. There's a lot of pressure right now on his shield. And there it is, the timeout. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Zerk with the championship, and very tactful play right here, Vicky, being able to stand back. And how about Zerk, one of our 4 open qualifiers, using Twintelle, getting the championship. A hard-fought grand finals match right there. Unfortunately, that ability won't be part of one of our characters, unfortunately. But you look at what all of our characters did today, Vicky, and the fact that our open qualifiers did such a fine job of adapting to this game and changing their strategy all throughout.
I honestly wouldn't have asked for an even more hype grand finals at that very moment. That was a very close toe-to-toe match, and honestly, all the qualifiers that have been put into this tournament have really shown why they were here in the first place.
Zerk is our champion, and with that, please welcome to the stage, producer of ARMS, Mr. Yabuki, to present the 2017 ARMS Open Invitational belts.
So I want to thank everyone here for watching and with having so much passion.
オンラインでご覧の皆さん、長い間ありがとうございます。楽しんでいただけたかな?
And everyone watching online, thanks for hanging in there. I hope you enjoyed it.
それから今日戦ってもらった8人のファイター、素晴らしい戦いでした。
And for all the people who fought here today, I want to say that it was really great to watch.
そして何よりザックス
But more than anything, Zerk
素晴らしい本当初めから最後まで一切隙がない本当にいい戦いを見せてくれました
You know, from start to finish, I saw no gaps in your game. It was really amazing to watch.
じゃあ皆さん分かってますねこのチャンピオンベルトをザークさんに差し上げようと思います
So I think you can guess it's time to give Zerk that championship belt.
Hold it up. Congratulations to Zerk, your champion in the 2017 Arms Open Invitational. I don't do this too often when I get these gigs, but Ed, my producer here, we saw this during Pokken Tournament Deluxe. Is it okay? Can we get an exhibition match between Mr. Yabuki and Zerk? Do you guys want to see an exhibition match between the producer?
疲れてないかって
You're not tired, are you?
Okay.
Let's get it set.
Okay.
Zerk versus Mr. Yabuki in an exhibition match. Champion versus producer. Let's get them set in their positions. Meanwhile, we'll go ahead and put the belt up there. D1, Vicky, what do you expect to see from Zerk this time? Now that he's going against some very stiff competition.
Now, I know Zerk has really patient play when it comes to his Twintelle, but I mean, he's coming up against the producer of ARMS. Things might be a little bit different. He might be a tad shook.
As we saw earlier within the Pokken tournament, I have definitely seen that these producers are the creators for a reason, and this game has not been out at all. So the amount of practice that you're going to be getting from the master himself, I mean, we're going to be seeing it right now.
Well, I think what else is very interesting is what character will Mr. Yabuki go with? Because we see Twintelle, and you wonder what character will be a good counter against Twintelle, because as we saw earlier, Skyward Wing was locked into Ribbon Girl. We don't know if that was necessarily the best counter, so it'll be interesting to see who he will go with. Meanwhile, you look at the strategy for Zerk. Really use the advantage of the level of the Sky Arena. I don't know if that advantage is going to exist this time, D1.
True, I don't know which stage are we going to. Are we going to even have access to the Sky Arena again?
We will find out here shortly. However, I am being told that our producer, Mr. Yabuki, for his character choice, is going to go with Min Min. Meanwhile, Zerk, rising from the grave, going to go with Master Mummy. Interesting decision right here by Zerk as these two get set to battle it out right here in this exhibition match. We have our champion of the 2017 ARMS Open Invitational, Zerk, taking on Mr. Yabuki, producer of ARMS. Don't be nervous, Zerk. Don't worry. It's just the whole world watching you.
And watch how this match is starting. You already see Zerk trying to move back with Master Mummy. He wants to negate the 50-50s with the rock, paper, scissors, with grabs and attacks, right? With the Mega Top Punch. But this Min Min is applying pressure from afar, and Zerk is quite content just sitting there and recovering 10 health each time.
Min Min using that Ram to put some pressure on Master Mummy. Meanwhile, just keeping her distance. Mr. Yabuki, trust me, knows a thing or two about this game here, Vicky.
And that is why we're actually seeing Mr. Yabuki hold on to his attack, taking advantage of the fact that whenever Min Min holds an attack, her arm becomes a dragon, dealing extra damage.
Absolutely, Min Min doing some fine work right now, keeping Master Mummy at bay. That'll be really helpful for her. She hopes to get this victory over Master Mummy, controlled by Zerk. Zerk not going with Twintelle, trying to sacrifice a little beauty for power in this match right here. Meanwhile, Min Min has a rush attack ready to go, looking for an opening.
Yes, this is looking really scary. Also, let's not forget the Mega Watt. It can actually clash with the Mega Touch, so it's really scary right here for Zerk. He's already getting knocked down, so it shows that even though he doesn't usually flinch, wait a second, opportunity right here.
Master Mummy trying to use the rush attack, misses right there. Min Min, look at the avoidance and the dodging and the maneuverability right there, Vicky.
And that is exactly what we were saying earlier. Min Min has the ability to parry in the air with all her kicks.
Min Min getting knocked back by that Megaton. It's got the advantage, 10 seconds left though. Look at the health bar for Min Min. Min Min can be patient, give Zerk a little bit of his own time-consuming medicine at this point. Meanwhile, Master Mummy, that's not gonna do it, Zerk. Can't recharge health fast enough in time. Min Min with the victory, D1.
I think he should have went Twintelle. No disrespect.
Meanwhile, this will be a 3 out of 5 games exhibition. So Zerk You're going to have to bring your A game. You can't let him win. He's not going to give you a free copy if you let him win. Meanwhile, Mr. Yabuki taking advantage of Zerk and the slower Master Mummy. Mr. Yabuki throwing that Ram Ram along with the Megawatt. And that 1-2 combination right there, D1, able to stun and burn Master Mummy.
Yeah, and right now, look at Master Mummy's shield. It's actually getting quite damaged. It goes from blue to green to yellow and then red. And after that, it breaks.
And after the arms break, after your shield breaks, actually, you're unable to use your arms, and that can be very crucial, especially to a character like Min Min. Notice how Mr. Yabuki is actually not trying to throw as many grabs as we were seeing previously.
Mr. Yabuki controlling Min Min, throwing some curving punches with a beautiful parabolic arc, trying to get some damage on Master Mummy. Master Mummy trying to jump up on those trampolines right there. Master Mummy, if it can connect with a couple throws, can do some major damage here, D1.
Yeah, right now, Mr. Yabuki definitely looking like the living personification of movement, but that rush attack doing so much damage.
That rush attack doing 405 on Min Min. Mr. Yabuki finding himself in a little bit of a corner. Meanwhile, Zerk starting to get a hang of Master Mummy. Much different play style than with Twintelle. However, Min Min has a rush attack ready to go here, D1.
And you see Zerk is actually jumping a lot, giving a free opportunity for Min Min to get the rush, but there's the grab, and that's a free charge for the Dragon. And
my goodness!
We talked about the juggle on the trampoline. We talked about that, D1. Unbelievable. Painting an orchestra in the corner with Mr. Master Mummy.
The fact that he got a grab and then rushed off of the grab because of the trampoline on that stage. Oh my gosh, Mr. Yabuki.
We were just talking about how you can extend your combos off of the stages and that spring allowing you to do just that.
Mr. Yabuki and Min Min. The unbelievable throw. It bounces Master Mummy off the edge. Therefore, Master Mummy doesn't get that brief invulnerability when you fall. Still just a sitting mummy bouncing up in the air, and like a punching bag, Min Min and Mr. Yabuki go to town for the victory here, D1.
Yeah, I think it's about time we went to France to find Twintelle, because Master Mummy, I think he got put right back into the coffin.
As we mentioned, this exhibition match is going to be adjusted to a best 2 out of 3 as far as the games go. So Mr. Yabuki taking the first game. If Mr. Yabuki takes the next game, we'll get the victory over our 2017 Arms Open Invitational champion, that is Zerk. Meanwhile, Zerk, do you think Zerk goes back to Master Mummy, or do you think he goes back with what was tried and true and brought him the victory here, Vicky, and that was Twintelle?
If he made it to this position with Twintelle, I definitely do believe he should stick to Twintelle. No more au revoir here, so we are gonna strap on the gloves and, in Twintelle's favor, wrap them around her hair and bring it on. Okay.
Meanwhile, Twintelle going with the Thunderbird and the Chillip. Meanwhile, Springman going with a little vanilla ice cream here and double toast as we get set. Springman controlled by Mr. Yabuki, producer for Arms. Meanwhile, Zerk, our champion in this Arms Open Invitational, going with Twintelle, getting the shock on Springman early in this one, and Twintelle dodging and weaving, trying to use that Thunderbird to get a couple faster strikes in there, D1.
And we talk about Mr. Yabuki's movement.
We've talked about mobility, and Mr. Yabuki finally tuned on that, dancing around, trying to avoid those punches. Already a rush attack ready for Mr. Yabuki, but Twintelle has one as well, too. Both fighters keeping a lot of distance in this stage in particular, Vicky, because you know, if you get knocked on that trampoline, you're wide open. Meanwhile, Twintelle slowing down time to take on Springman right there.
You cannot touch this guy. Mr. Yabuki is just untouchable. And using that Thunderbird, if he manages to connect it right there, as you notice, the arms, he can't use them. And Twintelle, with full rush, he actually can just obliterate Springman.
Twintelle getting some pressure on Springman. Meanwhile, Springman jumping up on the trampoline. Meanwhile, a lot of distance between these two fighters here, Vicky.
Absolutely, and as we're seeing right now, Mr. Yabuki is just avoiding all these punches, was able to slow down time to avoid that rush attack we saw earlier, and almost perfect health. He just continues to box Zerk out constantly.
We should say Zerk as Springman, Mr. Yabuki as Twintelle, trying to give Zerk, as we mentioned, a taste of that own medicine and what Twintelle can do. And Twintelle, as we just putting Springman on the rails right here. 8 seconds left, trying to connect, but here comes a rush attack from Springman. Meanwhile, Twintelle, just nothing, skating around there, D1.
This Springman is getting jammed!
Unbelievable. Mr. Yabuki using Twintelle, slowing down time. Springman can't lay a glove. I hope you wore extra deodorant, Zerk, because you were sweating unlike anything I've seen yet so far. Meanwhile, let's get to our second round in this game so far. If Mr. Yabuki, controlling Twintelle, gets this victory, will be our champion in this exhibition round. Zerk, meanwhile, with those double toasters and Springman, trying to get some pressure on Twintelle, but no, gonna get bounced off the back right there, Vicky.
We're just seeing all these arms clash at the very moment. Twintelle still has not taken any damage as of right now, but continuously cornering this Springman.
Springman double charge toasters, however, Twintelle's got a full rush gauge ready to go. That rush attack ready to call at a moment's notice. D1, what are we seeing?
One thing I see from Zerk, he's actually using the shockwave as he's moving to repel the attacks from Twintelle. This is actually helping him keep up with Mr. Yabuki.
Meanwhile, Twintelle with a slight health advantage, 57 seconds left. Twintelle's gonna bounce off the trampoline, counter with the shot, and the throw here, D1.
Oh my gosh, if he was able to actually throw him on the trampoline, that would have been a rush.
Unbelievable performance right here by Mr. Yabuki and Twintelle. Meanwhile, the throw by Springman. Oh!
We need backwards, the same exact thing he got hit with.
Oh, Medicine, the juggle trampoline off to the throw into the rush attack. Beautiful by Springman. However, there's still plenty of match to go. Here comes another throw. Let's see if Springman can close this one out. Zerk trying to force a third round in this game. Meanwhile, Twintelle dodging, weaving, trying to connect with that Thunderbird on the left. 23 seconds left. Twintelle trying to get a hit here on Springman. Meanwhile, Springman doing a finer job just avoiding his hit. Oh, Twintelle connects with the Thunderbird. Twintelle has a rush attack ready to go. Just being patient, waiting for that opportunity off the trampoline. Oh, here it comes. Oh, connect.
Catches him in the air.
Gonna knock Springman back. 5 seconds left. Both fighters at almost equal health. Next punch could be victorious. Oh, Mr. Yabuki punches through the throw. Mr. Yabuki. Oh my goodness. Getting the victory over Zerk and D1. How about Mr. Yabuki's ability to stay patient to close that one out?
Just his maneuverability around the stage, it is out of control. Every time Zerk thinks he's able to get a grab, you just see him dash out of the way. Oh, that mobility, yo.
Mr. Yabuki heard us talk about Zerk's Twintelle, but forget the Twintelle. Let's talk about Mr. Yabuki's Twintelle.
Mr. Yabuki's Twintelle is quite crisp.
Why don't we get both of our fighters back to the middle of the stage? Zerk, Mr. Yabuki, and one more time, let's give that 2017 Arms Open Invitational belt to Zerk. Give it up one more time for both of our competitors right here. Unbelievable performances. And Mr. Yabuki, thank you very much. And thank you for joining us for all of our competitions over the last couple days. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Will you be quick enough to take on the best? Today, we will watch these 4 members of the fighting game community face off in an elimination tournament with 4 gamers who have fought their way in from the E3 show floor. To Face Off in Arms, the first fighting game of its kind.
Whoa. You're telling me that they already played the game already?
Yes, they had to qualify at Nintendo's E3 booth. They loved it.
But we barely had the time to play with it. I thought we were the favorites. They're gonna destroy us.
Most likely. 4 members of the fighting game community who barely played the game. 4 players who had about the same time to play the game go head-to-head on a level playing field. The battle begins now at the 2017 ARMS Open Invitational.
Could I at least get one more game in?
No.
Ladies and... Actually, let me do that again. Sorry, just had a big glass of milk. A lot of dairy in my throat still. Me, mother... All right. Shall we go ahead then? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, that would be funny if we were live right now. Wait, we are? Oh, Ladies and gentlemen in the Nintendo booth and watching at home, welcome to the 2017 ARMS Open Invitational! On behalf of the ARMS League, I have the pleasure of introducing your host and commentator for the evening, Jordan Kent.
Well, thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon and welcome once again to the 2017 ARMS Open Invitational. I'm your host, Jordan Kent, and joining me, we have Vicky, Kitty, and D1 breaking down all the action. Our tournament format, we have 4 open qualifiers that were on the stage here at E3, taking on 4 professional invitees. How it will work out in the first and second round, it's going to be a best 2 out of 3 games to advance in the match, and then the grand finals will be the best 3 out of 5. But before we get to more tournament details, Vicky, what is ARMS? This is a game that many people have got their gloves on for the very first time. What are some of the core gameplay mechanics our players will be focusing in on this afternoon?
Well, wrap up your gloves because something you need to know are punches beat throws, shield beats punches, throws beat shield. A simple method of rock, paper, scissors.
And D1, this is a game that it's very easy to get into, but there is so much depth. There are some more advanced mechanics that we might see from these pros, and similar to some of the competitions we've seen, we might see the play styles evolve throughout the tournament.
Yes, looking at ARMS, there are different weight classes when it comes to these arms. Heavy arms beat medium arms and light arms, and the medium arms beat the light arms. You also have to take into account the different types of gloves there are too. Certain gloves actually curve around way better. Some also actually guard against attacks, one in fact. And there's much more to talk about. Also, even the special abilities of the characters, and we can go on and on, but you know, we might as well just continue.
Well, we've got more items to throw at you as well, too. So let's take a look at the items that will be placed on the battlefield between each match of these players. You start off with a bomb. You don't want to be near a bomb. Typically, an explosion is not a good thing that you want to be a part of. Then you have a shock bomb that will shock you. And Vicky, you look at what happens when a player gets shocked. What happens when you get shocked, and how does it open the window for your opponent?
Unfortunately, your arms just happen to not work at that very instant, and that would give you the opportunity to push pressure on your opponent and take advantage of the fact that they aren't allowed to attack you back.
The game is ARMS. If you don't have your arms, you're going to have a bad time. Meanwhile, we have an HP bottle and some super juice. D1, what will that do?
So there's a great area of effect when those items hit the field. If you see the HP healer, you basically get more health. And when it comes to the rush, if you get inside that area, you get more meter, which will allow you to unleash a rush, which does a lot of damage to your opponent.
Well, let's take a look and be introduced to our 8 players that will be taking center stage here. And let's start with our open qualifiers that were right here on the floor. It could have been any of you, but it was these 4. So we have Skyward Wing, Spring Guy, Gaming With Me, and Zerk. And Vicky, your thoughts on our 4 open qualifiers?
Well, they all worked very hard to get to where they are right now to be able to be considered qualifiers. I actually recognize some names over here, Skyward Wing and Zerk. You know, Zerk being part of the fighting game community himself.
They will be facing off against fighting game professionals that were invited here and given per diem even on top of that. So we have Alex Valle, Supergirl Kells, Tafflekins, and Kayane. And D1, you look at our pros coming in that are so well-versed in the fighting game community. What do you expect to see from them?
I'm going to expect to see a lot of great things from these players, man. You know, looking at Kayane, she is a fighting game prodigy since 10 years of age, coming out of France. Tafflekins, former Super Smash Bros. Melee player turned analyst and coach, coming out of NorCal, currently lives in SoCal. Alex Valle from Southern California, FGC pro of many, many years. I'm not going to give away his age. Turned into a mentor and is now an event producer. And last but not least, Supergirl Kells, top Super Smash Bros. 4 Wii U Sonic main, coming straight out of Montreal. These guys have such amazing fundamentals. I can't wait to see how they're going to apply that to ARMS.
Impressive resumes indeed. Let's take a look at the bracket and we'll see how the action will get started in this 2017 ARMS Open Invitational. And with this bracket, we mentioned we're going to be pairing one pro with one of our invitees in every single round. And as we mentioned, that first round matchup is going to be Alex Valle versus Skyward Wing. Meanwhile, Supergirl Kells versus Spring Guy, Tafflekins versus Gaming with me, and then Kayane versus Zerk. This is single elimination, so you lose. You're going to go ahead and take a seat and watch the rest of the field advance. And so, as far as what players to choose, what characters to choose, well, we decided to mix it up a little bit and have a draft. And so we have a draft explanation, 8 competitors. To avoid any competitors choosing the same duplicate characters in the first round, you get a primary and a secondary choice. You go 1 through 8. They were kind enough to let the open qualifiers choose first. After that, you go the snake draft, and you can choose your secondary character. How it works is if you win with your primary character, you keep playing with your primary character. If you lose, though, Vicky, you're going to move to that secondary character. So we might see some duplicate matches depending on how things shake out.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see how the duplicate matches are going to go. You know, this is still a relatively new game, so, you know, only us can see.
And D1, as we get set for our first match here, mobility was a term that we brought up so much as we started to play with this game. We looked at how these pros and these open qualifiers were playing. What role does mobility play in ARMS as far as finding some success?
When it comes to ARMS, you want to make sure that you're not an easy target to pin down. Certain characters, though, can actually benefit from standing still. Of course, we'll get into that later, but as far as the rest of the cast is concerned, you want to be able to just use your jumps, use your air dashes, and even your ground dashes to the best of your ability to make sure that no one either hurts your arms or even takes HP off of you as well.
Let's get set for our very first match. From the pro fighting game community, please welcome Alex Valle and our first open qualifier, Skyward Wing. Please come take the stage. Our very first matchup in the 2017 ARMS Open Invitational. And so D1, you look at some of the mechanics that are sometimes universal in all fighting games, being able to read and react to what your opponent does. How critical is it in a game like ARMS where every stage is going to be different that you've got to know exactly how your opponent's character plays?
Well, character knowledge definitely helps out a lot when it comes to this game, but let's also delve deeper into the arms that these characters have. You know, certain characters may have arms that will help them catch somebody who is quite nimble, a character that jumps a lot, maybe even a character that has weaker arms that they can overpower.
Our very first matchup, Alex Valle versus Skyward Wing. Valle going to go with Helix. Skyward Wing going with Ribbon Girl. Actually, Valle going to switch things up and going to go with Springman here. Very interesting. So we have Springman versus Ribbon Girl, the title characters here, Vicky. And when you look at the arm selection here, you go with Ribbon Girl. Going to most likely go with that Sparky and that Slamamander. Meanwhile, 2 toasters for Springman. Initially on Ribbon Girl getting the throw on Springman. And you look at a level like this, Vicky, and the fact that you do have some pillars for protection that might eventually be destroyed here soon.
Those DNA pods that you're seeing right there allows you to hide behind them to prevent yourself from getting hit quite often. And you could also use them as a distraction to maneuver your arm around. That way you can hit them from behind if possible.
Both fighters right now just getting a test for the stage. They're making sure they're getting everything squared away. You want to be familiar with Springman. Make sure that you know how to operate with him. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl, we've talked every single character in this game, D1, has a special attribute. What is it about Ribbon Girl that is so unique?
One of the things about Ribbon Girl is that she has 4 jumps, and also she is able to do 2 air dashes in midair. And having all these movement options make it very difficult to understand where exactly Ribbon Girl wants to go, especially if you add in the fact that she could dive bomb as well.
We heard me announce that Alex Valle went with Helix. That's who we drafted. Unfortunately, he had an itchy trigger finger. He selected Springman, so we're going to go ahead and reset that. Let him select Helix. We got to stick to our rules of the draft. You don't want to color outside the lines here, essentially. But let's get to Helix, the character that he's going to choose here soon. Helix, one of those really unique characters that you've got to have a pretty firm grasp of this game to really understand. And Vicky, what can you say about Helix's ability to avoid all of those potential punches he might face?
So we were talking a lot about mobility and how mobility is very important in this game, but you also have to take into consideration when you could kind of maneuver yourself away from the punches, and that is something that Helix could do. He could extend his body actually by holding jump, making him go straight in a line and kind of avoid all those punches, but at the same time shrink and crouch under arms by holding the crouch button, the dash button.
Over 24 arms you can choose from, and along with the way that they're designed, they can hit you different ways. You've got your more traditional arms like the toaster. However, there are elemental attributes to every single arm here. In D1, let's start with fire. How is that going to impact a player if you charge that punch to use that element?
So when you charge your punch and it has the fire element, this allows you to knock down the opponent. And when you knock them down, this gives you an opportunity to apply pressure with the 50-50s, the rock, paper, scissors game, which Vicky alluded to.
And Vicky, let's sort this out right now. You've got stun and you've got shock. Shock we talked about a little bit earlier with that shock bomb, but remind the folks what happens when you get shocked if someone uses one of those electric elemental punches.
So these are the two types of attributes that people tend to forget or mix up. Shock actually allows you to deactivate your opponent's arms, making them unable to shield or send an attack of their own, whereas stun stops the opponent's actions for a short amount of time.
And you have that very brief window with the stun D1 to be able to throw, or if you've got a rush attack ready to go. And oh, we mentioned rush attack. How rude of us. Why don't we explain that real quick? D1, give me a quick explanation of that rush attack we're going to see most likely.
Oh, absolutely. So if you build up meter, right, you basically build up your rush gauge, and this rush gauge allows you to cancel out any lag if you throw out a bad swing. If you go for a bad punch and then your opponent is about to counterattack, you could rush to cancel out that lag. You could also cancel out the lag from a grab as well. And this rush attack, of course, does a lot of damage.
Let's get to our first match now that Alex Valle so politely chooses the correct character. We've got Helix with 2 blorbs. Those have the blinding ability. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl going with that Slamamander and Sparky. Fire and electric elemental punches right there will be interesting. Ribbon Girl getting the throw on Helix. Early damage in this one. Meanwhile, Helix ducking behind those DNA tanks that you mentioned, Vicky.
Yeah, those DNA tanks really help you avoid getting hit constantly and allow yourself to make your opponent throw out their arms and leaving them vulnerable to attack.
In D1, you need to time out your punches. A lot of times, people are going to throw out both arms. You can get double damage with that. However, it leaves yourself open.
Exactly. You wouldn't want to do that because that could leave you susceptible to a grab or even a rush.
Ribbon Girl getting the shock, deactivating the arms for Helix, getting the throw right now. Sizable lead for Ribbon Girl. Here comes another throw. Helix hanging on with just a sliver of life, and Ribbon Girl gonna get the left Slamamander on Helix to take the first round of this game. Helix going with both of those blorbs once again, and the blinding ability, how will that impact Ribbon Girl if Helix is able to connect?
So what the blinding ability does for the blorbs is whenever you get hit by a blorb, your screen gets hit by a paint blob and you're unable to see anything that is happening currently on the stage. So that is something to take into consideration whenever you're playing a character like Helix, as he's the only one with a blorb at the moment.
Ribbon Girl with the throw. Helix, however, has a rush attack ready to go. Ribbon Girl blocking. Gonna go ahead and take that blorb to the face, jumping up in the air. We see the mobility being used by Ribbon Girl. Helix connecting with another blorb. It wasn't charged though. Ribbon Girl's got both punches charged, ready to throw that. Helix dodges to the left. Rush attack ready for Helix. Ribbon Girl gets the throw on Helix. Helix with less than half life left. That is Alex Valle trying to take on our open qualifier. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl, oh, that punch D1 gonna be negated because Helix able to punch through the throw of Ribbon Girl.
Exactly, because the blorb is heavy, and the 2 arms that Ribbon Girl has are medium. But right now, we actually have Ribbon Girl in the lead, doing a really good job of just weaving around Helix and takes that round and the game.
So I want to make a note right there that the reason why Helix took so much damage after hitting that DNA tank was because Ribbon Girl's throw damage is actually 150, but when you throw them onto an object on the stage, it deals even more damage.
And Ribbon Girl curving that punch as well too, and that can catch you off guard. So the first game is going to go ahead to our open qualifier, Skyward Wing, and Alex Valle had that rush attack charge there, D1, but just couldn't quite use it or find a window of opportunity to deploy it.
Yeah, what happened was Skyward Wing was just moving around the stage, and it was kind of hard for him to lock Skyward Wing down, which plays into Ribbon Girl's strengths right there.
Alex Valle losing goes to the secondary character, Twintelle, with dual Chillas right now, taking on Ribbon Girl with the Sparky and Slamamander, and yet another level now. This time, Vicky, we've got a little bit of undulation in the level, and character's going to try and get the upper hand.
Absolutely. Getting the higher ground could definitely be crucial in the matchup, and hiding behind those pillars, as you see right now, Twintelle doing that, just that, forcing Ribbon Girl to approach her. Another thing to note is that when Twintelle is glowing yellow around her, she could actually slow down punches heading towards her.
And that is a very important ability. However, the shock and the grab and the throw by Ribbon Girl going to knock Twintelle down. But Twintelle and Alex Valle, they have that rush attack. Will they deploy it? Trying to dodge and find cover around that pillar. Ribbon Girl, there you see the double jump right there. D1, that maneuverability opens up the window for the throw.
Absolutely, and when it comes to maneuverability, Twintelle also has that, as if she jumps in the air, goes for an air dodge, she can use her Star Struck, which slows down attacks, but the rush attack gets a decent amount of damage.
Twintelle with the rush attack, Ribbon Girl down to half health, but this will do it. They KO on the throw by Ribbon Girl, and Ribbon Girl able to avoid the throw attempt by Twintelle, and Alex Valle dodges to the left, throws out both ribbons, throw for the KO, Vicky.
That is an incredible throw to avoid at the same time, because Twintelle's throw damage is actually 160, 10 points higher than Ribbon Girl's.
Ribbon Girl with another throw right here, and you've got to react so fast, D1, when you see those green gloves come in for a throw to counter with a punch like we saw Twintelle do right there. However, Ribbon Girl jumping, getting another hit on Twintelle. Twintelle down to just less than 75% health. Ribbon Girl has a rush attack ready to go, and here it goes. And knocking Twintelle back into the corner of the stage. And if you're Twintelle, you've got to be able to get in close to Ribbon Girl and start getting her on her heels, D1.
But it looks like Twintelle, even though her mobility is quite good, Alex Valle just having a tough time hitting this Ribbon Girl. She looks like she's not even under 750 yet.
Ribbon Girl doing a fine job of dodging the punches, but here comes another rush attack from Twintelle up against the ropes. That's going to go ahead and knock Ribbon Girl down to almost 50% health. Counters the throw with a right Chilla, and then a throw of Twintelle's own. Uh-oh, looks like Alex Valle starting to learn this game here a little bit more. Oh, going to take the hit from Ribbon Girl. Moving, dodging Ribbon Girl's throw. Going to dodge that 1-2, connects with the left, but here comes the rush attack. Oh, Ribbon Girl! Not enough yet. A touch from a feather will knock out Twintelle at this point, and there's the throw for the KO. And that is another game. That makes it 2 of 3. And Skyward Wing, your open qualifier, going to go ahead and take down Alex Valle, the seasoned pro. However, Skyward Wing getting very familiar with this game in the short amount of time he's had to play it, Vicky.
That's incredible. We've been seeing both these players abuse their rush attack a lot better than you could see anywhere else, honestly. They catch the opponent right in the air, catching them out of their jump, and making sure you have to respect the rush attack if they do not have it at the moment.
Even if Alex Valle is out of the tournament now, I know he's going to hit the lab and come back stronger in the future.
Looking at the replay, it almost seemed like Alex was starting to get the grasp of how to play with Twintelle is just too little too late. And you see how both characters were really doing a fine job of dodging punches and then countering with their own and being able to connect. And looking back at that match, it was really something where Ribbon Girl doing a fine job, D1, of getting her punches charged and connecting with those.
Oh, indeed. And just jumping in the air, dodging everything that Alex Valle keeps trying to throw out. But right there, if you notice, when an opponent goes for a punch that's easily reactable, you can just immediately counter with that rush attack, which is why you saw Alex Valle lose so much health. And right there, with another wrong swing, you just saw Ribbon Girl jump out of the way and got that free grab punish. One thing though, if you do have one arm open, you still have some mobility. It's not as good as when you have both arms intact, but if you have at least one out, it's better than having both out.
We saw those 1-2 combinations from Ribbon Girl that helped lead her and Skyward Wing to success. Let's take a look at the updated bracket. You see Skyward Wing will advance to the semifinals with that victory over Alex Valle. Let's get you set for our next match that will feature Supergirl Kells versus Spring Guy as they take center stage here in the next round of our 2017 ARMS Open Invitational. And looking at this draft, as we mentioned, the open qualifiers had the first selection who they choose obviously can make a big impact, because if you had the last pick in the draft here, Vicky, you may not get a character that you had a chance to get familiar with, and that can certainly make things difficult.
It makes things difficult, but also interesting. At the same time, these are also pros that have a good understanding of the fighting game community and what they're going to look out for their opponents.
Supergirl Kells gonna go with Ninjara. Meanwhile, Spring Guy gonna go with, take a wild guess, Spring Man. So you look at what Ninjara can do. We talk about mobility. What is so special about Ninjara and what he can do differently than everybody else, D1?
So when Ninjara jumps into the air, if he goes for an air dash, you can't quite tell in which direction he's trying to go in. And that's what makes him really unpredictable, on top of the fact that if he's on the ground and you shield, he also teleports, which makes it very hard to want to pressure him.
Disappears in a cloud of smoke. You can't predict if he's going left or right. Players are getting set for their matchup. Supergirl Kells going to be playing as Ninjara. Spring Guy going as Spring Man. And let's take a look at the loadout here. Spring Man choosing between that toaster, that boomerang. It looks like it's going to be a toaster and tri-bolt for Spring Man. Meanwhile, Ninjara is going to go ahead with that buff and tri-blast in the early attack by Spring Man. Ninjara, you see disappearing in that cloud of smoke. And Vicky, if you look at Ninjara, how important is it for Ninjara to always be moving and keeping the opponent guessing?
For Ninjara in particular, it is very important to always be on your toes and in the air, because whenever you hit Ninjara's shield, he actually disappears in the cloud of smoke, as well as whenever he does so in the air and he uses a dash move up there. That means that you have to be really wary when your opponent has rush attack, because that means you can't shield the rush attack like the other characters in the game.
Springman, Ninjara, they're both at about 60% health at this point. 60 seconds left in the match. Both players close to a rush attack. There goes Springman. He's got his rush attack ready to go. Got the tri-bolt charge. Gonna miss with that. Ninjara connects with the left buff right there. Both players have their charges punched. Punches charged. Meanwhile, Springman gonna release that rush attack. Ninjara gonna succumb to that. Ninjara down to just 35% health. Meanwhile, Ninjara disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Gonna miss the throw, and D1 connects with the throw right here.
Keep an eye open. We see Ninjara actually almost has full rush. This will allow Ninjara to make a comeback.
Yet another throw by Ninjara. Springman trying to hang on, less than 25% health. Keep a look at that timer, just 23 seconds left. Another throw for Ninjara. Not a KO yet. Still a sliver of health left for Springman. Ninjara there connects with the buff in the left arm, D1.
And Supergirl Kells made sure to save her meter, so she has rush for the next round.
Supergirl Kells taking the first round in this first game. Ninjara with a full rush meter controlled by Supergirl Kells. Meanwhile, Spring Guy with Spring Man. And Springman, D1, when his health gets low, he's got an attribute that kicks in.
Yes, when he is at 25% health, it is quite scary because his arms are perma-charged.
Ninjara with a rush attack and gonna do all sorts of damage to Springman. 240 down right there, Vicky, and those rush attacks are so important to connect on in these
That
rounds.
is why you saw Supergirl Kells hold on to her rush for so long, because she wanted to use it to her advantage so that way she could progress within this match, as well as you see her right now just approaching Springman. But she needs to watch out. If Springman gets hit right when his charger is off, the punch will be deflected when a Shockwave parries the attack, but he doesn't even need it. He's able to use his rush.
Rush attack by Springman, hanging on for dear springs at this point. Meanwhile, Ninjara connects with the right tri-blast. And you saw Ninjara and Supergirl Kells doing a fine job of jumping in the air, D1, reading the punches coming in from Spring Guy, and then disappearing into a cloud of smoke and countering with a quick attack.
Oh, indeed. And the scary thing about the Ninjara's buff glove is the fact that when you charge it, it gets bigger, which means you basically have a bigger surface area, more opportunities to actually land a hit on your opponent.
We talked about having some potential duplicate matches, so you'll be very excited to see who Spring Guy's secondary character is. But you mentioned the buff. What about the weights of the gloves, D1? These arms have different weight classes, and those take priority when they meet each other.
Yes, looking at Ninjara's gloves, Ninjara has the Chakram, which is a medium weight, also the buff, that's a medium weight, and last but not least, the Tri-Blast, which is a lightweight. As far as the lightweight gloves are concerned, they lose to the medium and the heavy arms, but the medium gloves just only beat the light ones.
Of course, the heavier the glove, the slower it moves, leaving your opponent more time to counter right there. So, we've got dual Ninjara, so turn off the smoke detectors in this one as they both will go face to face. And Vicky, we talk about these different levels. Now you have this level, this dance floor for Ribbon Girl. You're gonna have these pillars pop up, so lots of different coverage that's gonna be random throughout this match.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, the higher ground is really where you wanna be, and with these two characters, they're very high mobility based. Something to make note on is this is the only character that cannot take chip damage on his shield because he does not allow it.
Supergirl Kells the Ninjara with the purple. Meanwhile, Spring Guy, the Ninjara with the green. Early on, advantage Supergirl Kells, about 75% health, gonna connect on that throw. Spring Guy gonna fall to 60% health, and here come the pillars right here, D1, and this is where you want to use Ninjara's mobility and those pillars to avoid some punches.
Yes, you see it happening right now, and just to be clear, Spring Guy is the green-haired Ninjara, while Supergirl Kells is the purple one.
Absolutely, Supergirl Kells, meanwhile, doesn't have the rush attack. Spring Guy with the rush attack, ready to deploy at a moment's notice. However, still plenty of life left for Supergirl Kells. Supergirl Kells doing a fine job of working the sides of this stage. However, gets knocked back by that Tri-Blast by Ninjara. Ninjara controlled by Spring Guy, unleashing the rush attack. 330 right there, D1.
That was so much damage. And if you notice right there, the other Ninjara tried to jump into the air to avoid, because knowing that if you try to block, you will teleport potentially into the other rush punch.
Supergirl Kells with that rush attack of her own. Meanwhile, Spring Guy down to the last 15% of his health. Green Ninjara is Spring Guy, however, connecting on the punch right there. 20 seconds left. Supergirl Kells trying to pin Spring Guy in the corner. Has the elevation. Gonna try and counter with a double punch. However, that chakram on the right side gonna connect on Supergirl Kells, but no! Supergirl Kells connects with the right armed Tri-Blast, connects with that right Tri-Blast, and that's going to go ahead and get that round victory for Supergirl Kells. Let's get to round 2 here as we have Pink Ninjara controlled by Supergirl Kells, Green Ninjara by Spring Guy, and early on we see, Vicky, both fighters getting a chance to get to that rush attack this last round.
They were both able to land it at one point as well, catching them both in the air. You need to watch out for that. It is noticed that you can't hold shield against any rush attack as Ninjara, so to jump away would be the best option you could possibly do. But at the same time, you're seeing both of these Ninjaras fight close range because Ninjara has a high mobility for close range.
Spring Guy going with dual Tri-Blast. Meanwhile, Supergirl Kells going with the buff and the Tri-Blast early on. Here comes a rush attack from Spring Guy, however. He's got it ready to go whenever he wants. Supergirl Kells, no rush meter right now, under 50%. Spring Guy doing a good job using those pillars for coverage. Here comes the rush attack for Spring Guy, but no, counter D1 by the dodge by Supergirl Kells.
Yeah, Supergirl Kells making sure to just keep on the pressure with the buff and the Tri-Blast, making it very difficult for Spring Guy.
Kells doing a fine job of jumping in the air, disappearing into smoke, connects with the throw right here. That's going to do some damage. Meanwhile, Spring Guy less than 50% health. Supergirl Kells going to have to really watch these punches. Yet another throw for Supergirl Kells, Vicky, and Spring Guy need to read those throws a little bit better.
Yes, he keeps getting thrown, and that's 150 damage per throw, so he does not want to get any more of those hit on him.
Supergirl Kells connected. It's going to come down to the last punch or two, and Supergirl Kells with the throw coming back from the grave in this one. Impressive victory, and it was throw after throw after throw that Supergirl Kells unleashes on Spring Guy. She gets the second round victory. That's going to go ahead and take the second game for Supergirl Kells. And how about the ability of Supergirl Kells to jump into the air, use Ninjara's special ability, disappearing into smoke, and to counter with the throw?
Exactly. It's really hard to just know where he's going to go, where she's going to go. So because of that, you will get that opportunity to counter whenever you see Spring Guy go for a wrong punch.
We've got a couple of other abilities that these punches have, the elemental abilities, and we do want to talk about ice. We saw Twintel use the Chillas, and meanwhile you also have an explosion. So let's start with the ice there, Vicky, and then take us through a tour to explosion.
So
how do those affect the opponents?
The ice attribute actually slows down the opponent and stops him from dashing. And you know, as we mentioned earlier, mobility really is key in this game, and for that to hit you could be really crucial as the outcome of the game. As for explosion, when the punches explode on hit, they do deal extra damage.
And as far as the ice is concerned too, you still have the ability to swing. So if your opponent tries to grab you after they freeze you, just go for one punch, you'll be able to break that grab.
But you move a little bit slower, like you just had a stack of pancakes for breakfast. Absolutely. Let's take a look at the updated bracket here as Supergirl Kells will advance in that match. that bracket, as we mentioned, you've got Supergirl Kells that will be taking on Skyward Wing, who was one of our open qualifiers, getting the victory over Alex Valle. So those two will face off in a best 2 out of 3 when we get to the semifinals. But let's set the stage for our third match in this opening round. Please welcome to the stage Taffakins squaring off against Gaming with Me and D1. We're starting to see a wider selection of these arms that the players can choose. And what is it about being able to set your opponent up with one punch and then predict where they go and counter with another punch that might curve?
I think one of the best things about that is if you're using something that has a lot of startup, let's say the Dragon, right? If you're using Min Min, it's really hard to catch someone who's really nimble with that. So you want to put that out there and then try to influence where the opponent goes with another weapon.
As we take a look at the characters that Taffakins and Gaming with Me will choose, you're going to get a chance to see Master Mummy here, Vicky. And Master Mummy, the biggest, slowest character in the game. However, Master Mummy packs a punch and has a very unique special ability.
When Master Mummy gets hit, he does not flinch, and it can be incredibly scary, so you need to watch out your distance against Master Mummy, and when you're throwing out both your punches, leaving you vulnerable to potential grab or a bigger punch, as he has Megaton.
Taffakins going with Master Mummy. Meanwhile, Gaming with Me choosing Min Min. And what is it about Min Min? Some very unique abilities with her, D1.
Min Min, if she does her backdash and also her dashes in the air, she's able to parry. And the last thing is if she goes for a full charge, her left arm turns into a dragon, which allows her to stay permanently charged until she gets knocked down.
Min Min going with the Megawatt and a dragon. Meanwhile, Master Mummy, controlled by Taffakins, going to go with the Megaton and the Phoenix. That Phoenix can get there very quickly. And there we see Master Mummy blocking already to try to regenerate some of that health. But Min Min with a long distance throw going to knock Master Mummy back. And already early in this one, Min Min's got Master Mummy to below 25% health early on. And Min Min using that mobility, Vicky.
Min Min taking advantage of the fact that Master Mummy is going to want to stay into shield a lot of times, since whenever he holds shield, he actually regenerates 10 health each time.
Very good, making sure that you know your opponent's going to want to block as Min Min using that throw. And that's such a good point I want to revisit, Vicky. The fact that Master Mummy's going to want to sit in that block to regenerate health. If you know that, you know you can throw after throw after throw at Master Mummy.
Yes, you could, potentially grab him, fish for that grab, but at the same time, you don't want to be too grab happy, because if you get hit once by that Megaton, you're going to be losing a lot of damage.
Master Mummy switching to the Retorture to go along with the Megaton. Min Min staying with the same set of the Dragon. The Megawatt, a throw right there by Min Min. You've got the rush attack charge for Master Mummy. Master Mummy trying to charge up both punches. No avail right there. Yet another throw by Min Min. And Master Mummy, Min Min trying to send Master Mummy back to the tomb early here. Master Mummy blocking the punches right there. Dodges the rush attack, counters with the throw. Gets the throw on Min Min. And D1, 200 damage on a throw from Master Mummy.
Strongest throw in the game. And right now we have Taffakins putting together so much damage from that rush. 345. But the answer from Gaming with Me with that grab gives a free charge.
Min Min kicking Master Mummy out the kitchen, and that's a quick victory for the first game by Gaming with Me. Very impressive with Min Min. It's interesting, Min Min selected by Gaming with Me in both rounds. Gaming with Me very, very confident in Min Min's abilities. Didn't want anybody else to get her off the board.
Yeah, and it looked like right there at the end of that game, Taffakins was thinking to himself like, wow, man, that pressure from the Min Min was quite great. So he's going to have to think really deeply about how to counterattack this Min Min into the next round.
Well, Taffakins' secondary character will be Springman, so a little bit more mobility right there, Vicky. And if you're facing a very fast player like Min Min, what are some of those potential arms you want to go with? You don't necessarily want to go with big, slow, heavy arms. You're looking for something maybe a little bit lighter that you don't have to throw straight at them.
Yeah, you could risk yourself going for lighter punches, but at the same time, if your opponent has heavier arms, they are going to be going through the lighter arms, as D1 had covered earlier.
Looks like Taffakins going to go with Master Mummy in the second game. Min Min victorious in the first game. Best 2 out of 3. Min Min with yet another throw. And D1, I want to ask, if you're Master Mummy and you're blocking to regenerate health, can you then counter the counter by making sure you throw punches, expecting to see more throws come?
Yes, as long as you make sure you just throw a punch the moment you see that grab coming. I mean, there's an audio cue and you see that green neon light right there. It is quite obvious to be able to block the grab, but you have to make sure you don't swing first.
Min Min tossing Master Mummy around like a rag doll in this round. Gonna get the throw yet again. And unfortunately, Master Mummy recovers health, but not as much health as a throw takes away, as Min Min is calling from long distance with those grabs, tossing Master Mummy all across the map. And another quick victory for Min Min, who, oh, by the way, D1, has a rush attack ready to go.
Uh-oh. There's going to be a lot of damage, and already unleashing the rush attack.
365 damage right there, and that was so quick right there, D1.
Way too much damage, and it looks like Taftikins is just sitting in shield, making it very easy for Gaming With Me to keep on the pressure.
It's hard if you were Master Mummy, Vicky, because you're a big, large target. You can't move left and right, so you have to be very good at reading what your opponent does.
Yeah, to make up for all the damage that he does, he is unable to be as mobile as the other characters in the game, which is why he was able to eat that rush attack so early in the game when he was in the middle of jumping.
Master Mummy using that Megaton to deflect a lot of the punches. You see the heavy Megaton negating the lighter punches of Min Min, but Min Min getting the KO on Master Mummy. Too little, too late by Taftikins, and another game victory for Gaming With Me. That'll go ahead and take the match. Well done, Taftikins, but we're seeing our open qualifiers here, D1, really bringing their A game in ARMS right now.
Yeah, isn't it like 2 of them already?
2 of them have advanced out of 3 matches already. So what'll be interesting if our next pro can certainly step it up, but you see Master Mummy, Vicky, a slower character where if you can connect with those punches, they're going to do a lot more damage. However, if you're going against someone like Min Min that's moving left and right, you have to really make sure that you predict where Min Min might be.
Absolutely, and the reason why that was such underwhelming pressure was because of the fact that when Master Mummy has to deal with something close range, he absolutely has no idea what to do. He has no option to get you away from him, so that's why he wants to stay in shield far away from your grab range as well.
And D1, you look at Master Mummy players, they might really want to make sure they're very proficient at being able to counter those throws with those punches, because you know opposing players facing a Master Mummy are going to be much more lenient to use that throw and take advantage of the fact that you're blocking and regaining your health.
Yep, as long as they see that shield up, they're going to want to go for that throw. So the best thing a Master Mummy player can do is go for that Megaton punch, or whichever one of the punches that he has, arms that he has equipped, to thwart the attempts time and time again.
Let's take a look at our updated bracket as yet another open qualifier advances to the semifinals. As we mentioned, Alex Valle losing to Skyward Wing, Supergirl Kells advancing, and then Gaming With Me and Min Min just putting on an absolute display against Master Mummy finds his way into the semifinals. Let's get set for our final match of the first round. It's going to be Kayane versus Zerk. Please come down to the stage here. And Kayane, very experienced fighting game player, has a lot of different tricks up her sleeve. Meanwhile, Zerk, D1, this is someone very familiar with the scene also. It's not your typical open qualifier that punched their ticket here.
Yes, coming from Florida, this guy has been in the fighting game community for quite some time, but Kayane is a prodigy from 10 years of age. I mean, that's kind of scary, man.
It's a lot of experience right there, Vicky, but what we're seeing so far is the experience in other games not necessarily translating against our open qualifiers that have had a little bit more time to play ARMS and get familiar with this. And what are you seeing from our open qualifiers as far as some gameplay mechanics that's really giving them an arm up on the competition so far?
So the open qualifiers that have been doing a fantastic job right now and moving on within the bracket are playing a lot more safer than what you're seeing. Keeping your hands at the ready could be very, very crucial. It allows you to shield and it allows you to grab. But at the same time, if you're going to throw out both your punches or throw a grab, you have to remember you're leaving yourself open to anything that could come your way.
Let's get set for our matchup here. We've got Kayane going with Mechanica. First time we've seen her. Zerk going with Twintel. What do we know about Mechanica here, D1?
Yeah, I'm actually super pumped because I play this character quite a bit. When it comes to Mechanica, the scrapyard scrapper, she hovers off of her jump, and she has an opportunity to actually not flinch when she goes for a punch, jump, or a dash.
Twintel, meanwhile, going with the Thunderbird and Parasol, trying to use some long-distance fast arms. Meanwhile, Mechanica with that whammer, and also that revolver going to do some serious damage. Twintel right now, it's pretty even at this point. Going to use that barrier for protection. Mechanica going to dodge around. Twintel connecting with a couple punches and just being very proficient here, Vicky, of just landing these small, light, fast punches.
And it's really interesting to see how Mechanica is trying to maneuver herself around Twintel, and at the same time, right there, she was able to charge her attacks mid-air. She's able to do that while she hovers as well.
Twintel dodging the rush attack from Mechanica and then able to block the rest for very little damage. Meanwhile, getting the throw on Mechanica. And Twintelle has a rush attack ready to go. Meanwhile, Mechanica trying to keep its distance. Twintelle with that rush attack. Mechanica less than 25% health. Here comes the rush attack, and there's the KO from Twintelle. And how about Twintelle being able to read when Mechanica landed and unleashing that rush attack?
It's almost as if Zerk played the game a couple weeks in advance.
Zerk going with that Thunderbird and that Parasol. We had the global test punch, of course, people getting a chance to get familiar with that. Here comes that Whammer and the Revolver, same weapon set for Mechanica. Getting stunned and knocked back right there, Vicky. The 1-2 elemental punch.
The 1-2 elemental punch, but look at all this pressure that we're seeing. Notice how we're seeing both these characters keep their distance away from each other, but that trap is gonna snipe Twintelle, making 160 damage.
Twintelle able to shock Mechanica. Both those arms become useless at that point, and then gets the grab and the throw. That Thunderbird trying to call in and get some damage. However, the rush attack from Mechanica gonna do 365 damage on Twintelle. Twintelle and Mechanica. Mechanica with about 60% life, Twintelle with about 40 at this point. And you look at Mechanica, D1, finally getting some pressure on Twintelle.
Yeah, if you notice, the Whammer right there is a great tool that actually beats both of Twintelle's arms, which are medium, while the Whammer is heavy.
Zerk doing a fine job of shocking Mechanica and then using that grab to get some extra damage as well, too, connecting on those charged elemental punches. We've got about 36 seconds left. Twintelle with the rush attack, ready to go. Zerk being very careful about when to deploy. Counters the throw with the Parasol through the throw. Gonna size up Mechanica at this point. Here comes the rush attack, trying to say goodnight to this round. However, Mechanica gets knocked back. We've got 22 seconds left. Zerk counters 1-2 Thunderbird and then the Parasol, and it was all about those charged elemental punches, D1.
There was so much patience right there from both of those players. Did you notice how they were not even swinging? They both just kept looking at each other, waiting for one to go for the first punch, and finally Zerk attacked when the time was right.
Kayane gonna move to her secondary character, which will be Ribbon Girl. We'll get that game set up here soon. But Vicky, D1's making the point about these players being patient, not throwing arms out there. You've got two choices here. You can either play very aggressive, meaning you're the one calling the shots, or you can play a little defensive, where you're trying to read and react. When you look at those two different play styles, let's start with the aggressive one. What are some things you want to keep in mind if you really want to try and put the pressure on the opponent?
If you really want to put a pressure on your opponent, you have to take into consideration your stage, where you are, your positioning, how far are you from your opponent, what can your opponent do from this so-and-so distance, what can their special attributes be, do they have rush? A lot of times you're seeing both of these players get hit by rush because they're constantly jumping mid-air, trying to avoid each other's attacks, but not trying to be as grounded and trying to close in that space.
That's Zerk and Twintelle with the double chillas to the left if you're facing the screen. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl controlled by Kayane in Ribbon Girl stage. Twintelle gonna get the throw, but here come those pillars right there. And D1, Ribbon Girl's ability to jump multiple times can really take advantage of getting the height on Twintelle and raining down some punches.
Oh yeah, when she's on this stage, she actually gets more air dashes when she's at the top of the columns, actually. It's really scary.
Twintelle with the rush attack on Ribbon Girl, almost with the KO, and Ribbon Girl avoiding the throw right there, hanging onto a sliver of life. Twintelle with both chillas charged at this point, trying to land one more critical punch to go ahead and say goodnight, take this round. However, Ribbon Girl keeping her distance, using those pillars for defense. Twintelle can't connect quite yet, but there you go. The left chilla in the face of Ribbon Girl, gonna knock her down, and that round is gonna go to Zerk. And Zerk, we haven't really seen him utilize the slowdown attribute of Twintelle yet, though. Hasn't really needed that.
Wow, yeah, instead he's quite comfortable just weaving around Kayane's attacks.
He actually did it right there.
Go figure. I knew you would right there.
I think we just
just heard us right there. You're smiling. I see you, Zerk. I know exactly what you're doing right there. Meanwhile, Zerk trying to get some pressure on Ribbon Girl and Kayane. Zerk with that Twintelle has that rush attack ready to go. Floating in air, slowing down time. Zerk, as we mentioned, heard what we were saying. Ribbon Girl approaching these pillars right now, trying to get inside of Twintelle with that range of the two Slamamanders, which is very interesting. And you look at when the pillars get this high here, Vicky, and Ribbon Girl really needing to jump and be very aerial with her attacks.
Not only could she get the higher ground on this stage, as D1 mentioned, but the Slamamanders actually allow her to kind of cover a wider attack.
Ribbon Girl with the throw on Twintelle. Twintelle with the healthy amount of life. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl, she's at about 20% health. Gonna have to be very careful here, or else this game and match will go to Zerk. Zerk with the double chillas on Twintelle. All charged up, ready to go, trying to do some damage. Here comes the rush attack, and that is the KO. That is the round, that is the game, and that is the match, D1.
Did you notice how Zerk literally stood there, waited for Ribbon Girl to jump right in front of him, and he unleashed the rush attack right then and there.
Zerk and Twintelle proving to be quite the formidable pair. Impressive victory over Kayane. And here's what we have now. 4 open qualifiers, 3 of them advanced to the semifinals. And Vicky, what we're seeing from these open qualifiers is their ability to really tap into the special usage, those special abilities of their characters, and they're doing a fine job of reading their opponents too.
That, and you could really tell how practice goes a long way, because our qualifiers were able to play the game prior, and they were the ones who excelled the most in their group, and that's the reason why they're here right now.
Let's take a look at this bracket as we get set for semifinal action. As we mentioned, the semifinals will also be a best 2 out of 3 when it comes to these games. Let's get set for our first semifinal match. It's going to be Supergirl Kells taking on Skyward Wing. Best 2 out of 3, as we mentioned. Supergirl Kells using that Ninjara and the ability to disappear into a cloud of smoke to get the victory early on. Meanwhile, Skyward Wing, very impressive with Ribbon Girl. And so you see this matchup, D1. You've got 2 characters in Ribbon Girl and Ninjara that excel in mobility. What's the key in making sure you can land some punches against these characters that are going to be all over the stage?
I feel like we're actually going to have both of these players miss a lot against each other because they're so evasive. Ninjara, he just poofs into a cloud of smoke and you don't know where he's going. And once he appears, you're probably going to have an arm going straight to your face. And as far as Ribbon Girl is concerned, she just has so many jumps, almost reminiscent of Jigglypuff in numerous Smash games.
And Vicky, to D1's point about missing punches, how critical does that make it a rush attack if you can connect with that?
Well, what's best about seeing both these characters play these characters, both these players play these characters, because these characters really like to hang around the air a lot, so that leaves them prone to being hit by rush attacks more often.
Ninjara going with a buff and a Tri-Blast that is Supergirl Kells. Meanwhile, on your left, Ribbon Girl controlled by Skyward Wing, gonna go ahead with that shocker and that Slamamander. And what are we seeing early on here, D1?
Right now, we're just, notice how Supergirl Kells plays around this Ribbon Girl. She is waiting for those opportunities to get those counterattacks, bobbing and weaving until the time comes. See, right there, the teleport. And we just saw a wide grab. That is actually an advanced technique that we did forget to mention.
That wide grab coming in handy for Ninjara and Supergirl Kells. However, the rush attack from Skyward Wing gonna do 275 damage. And Vicky, there's our first rush attack that connects against these 2 fighters that might be whipping more than they connect.
So that is something that you may want to stay grounded for whenever you see your opponent get that rush attack nearly as big as you can see it right now. Ninjara getting as close as he can, almost getting that rush attack.
Ninjara trying to keep Ribbon Girl up against the side of the stage. Gonna get the grab and the throw. Ninjara and Ribbon Girl both less than 50% health. Oh, the throw misses from Ribbon Girl and another grab from Ninjara. Supergirl Kells being patient, dodging, weaving, bobbing, trying to avoid those arms being thrown. Oh, we have a rush meter ready to go after the throw from Supergirl Kells. Gonna try and deploy it. Some chip damage applied here. Ribbon Girl still hanging on, although can't survive one more punch from an arm. Ninjara trying to connect, and Supergirl Kells, D1. How about the patience at the bottom of the bowl?
Yeah, Supergirl Kells always air dashing when you least expect it and getting those attacks in there. She actually ended the round right there with the Tri-Blast, her fastest arm.
Now we see Skyward Wing switching to 2 Slap-A-Manders here. Vicky gonna go with that fire element. It's gonna be interesting how that pairs off against Supergirl Kells, who's still using that Tri-Blast and that buff. No changes for her, and yet an early grab from Supergirl Kells. What do you make about this stage, Vicky, and either playing at the bottom of the bowl or along the higher outside rim?
I think it varies depending on where your opponent is going to be standing. If they want to be in the middle part, kind of getting close to them, get that close range, and kind of being above them at the same time in that midpoint could be towards your advantage.
Slap-A-Manders are doing work for Ribbon Girl, and Skyward Wing connected on that rush attack a little bit ago. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl trying to keep the higher ground. Ninjara very comfortable hanging out at the bottom of this bowl right now. Avoids the throw, connects with the 1-2 with the buff and the Tri-Blast. No charge attack there, though. Plenty of time left in this match. Ninjara, Supergirl Kells gonna miss with the throw. Block and a charge, and a double charge hit right there, D1. That's critical. But here comes the rush attack, blocked by Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl doing a fine job of reading and reacting to Ninjara, D1.
Yeah, looks like Supergirl Kels unable to actually get that rush in. There it is. Wow, the interruption.
Unbelievable counter. That cut short the rush attack, but not before Ribbon Girl gets 120 health. Okay, we're down to our last couple punches here in this round. Ribbon Girl trying to use those double slam-o-manders. Oh, D1, what went on right there?
And right there, you just saw how when Ninjara comes out of that teleport, you can actually attack Ninjara. He is vulnerable to attack. So great counter right there, and we actually have a tight battle between both of these players.
Terrific prediction by Ribbon Girl and Skyward Wing. Now we see a change in the arms equipped with Supergirl, Kels, and Ninjara. Gonna go with 2 Tri-Blasts. Winner of this round is gonna take the first game point in this semifinal match. Grab by Ribbon Girl, gonna toss Ninjara across the bowl. Meanwhile, Ninjara comfortable hanging down at the bottom of the bowl like some soggy cereal at this point. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl bouncing to the left, gonna dodge the throw right there from Ninjara. Ribbon Girl still keeping the higher ground here, Vicky, trying to keep that angle and use those super jumps to dodge.
That's the aerial mobility that I was mentioning. Look at her jump 4 times in the air. That's as many times as Ribbon Girl could jump in the game. Trying to maneuver herself around Ninjara, finally getting that grab, landing 150 damage right there. It's very crucial. Every character in the game has 1,000 health, so any point counts, obviously, towards these grabs.
2 rush attacks ready to go. Ribbon Girl deploying hers, but Ninjara's on the ground. And Ninjara counters with the rush attack of his own and gonna do 310 damage. Supergirl Kels able to be on the ground, avoid the rush attack, and deploy her own. It's got Skyward Wing on the ropes. Less than 25% health. The throws missed by Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl curving those punches, D1, and having a lot of effectiveness with it.
It looks like having the higher ground is actually helping Skyward Wing out a lot. And right there, you see Supergirl Kels trying to see if she can actually match Skyward Wing.
A lot of fingernails are going to get bitten down at this point. You've got less than 25% health for both characters at this point. Ribbon Girl with a couple hits on that Slam-O-Mander on the left, curving those punches. The throw by Ribbon Girl. Skyward Wing going to take the round and take the game, the first game point of this match, D1.
What did we say about going for those grabs? That's going to leave yourself wide open, and Skyward Wing took that opportunity and won the first game.
And Vicky, we saw the adjustment by Skyward Wing and Ribbon Girl of switching to the double Slap-O-Manders after losing that first round. And we saw a lot of those punches curving to the inside, trying to go inside out to catch Ninjara as Ninjara was moving to the right.
That's why the Slap-O-Manders are so good. They cover a very wide range of space, so you have to look out for those. And when you're trying to jump over them, you have to look out for the other arm, especially they keep them at the ready.
First game point of this semifinal match goes to Skyward Wing, our open qualifier. It was so good, let's do it again. We've got Ribbon Girl double Slap-O-Manders going against Ninjara, this time with the buff in the chakra.
I actually like this change from Supergirl Kels going for 2 medium weight punches this time, because when Supergirl Kels had the Tri-Blast, that kept losing to the medium weight punches that Skyward Wing was using.
What about Supergirl Kels in that chakra, trying to throw that chakra wide out to the right and then try to counter with that buff in the inside to try and catch Ribbon Girl, dodging to the inside when she sees that chakra coming out wide.
And here we are in Spring Stadium, where you actually, if you hit your opponents on the trampoline, you can juggle them to get extra damage.
Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl connecting on the grab and the throw right there. Supergirl Kels taking the damage right there. Skyward Wing misses on the throw, gets another jump though, connected with the right chakra for Supergirl Kels. Slap-O-Mander gonna miss. Rush attack charge for both characters at this point, just impatiently waiting each other out, trying to see who's gonna provide an opening. Ribbon Girl charging those punches. Here comes the rush attack from Ribbon Girl. 180, not bad, you certainly take that, D1.
But that was still a beautiful bait by Skyward Wing. Went for the grab, and it looked like it was obvious. But there's the grab right there. Actually, Supergirl Kels in a slight lead. Well, no, actually loses it right there.
Ribbon Girl with about 40% health. Ninjara down to 25%, but it's even less now after that throw. Ninjara does have that rush attack ready to go, but no! Ribbon Girl, Skyward Wing connecting with that Slam-O-Mander, and they just travel so far, and they're so hard to predict, Vicky, when you look at just their arc and the direction that they go. If you're dodging 2 of those coming at different times, you've got to be really dialed in if you're Ninjara.
I got very excited because Ninjara did have rush attack at the ready, but you know, to save it for the next round could be very crucial to who could win the entire match.
Yeah, it's a great start to a match if you have that rush attack. Meanwhile, Ribbon Girl able to connect and knock down Ninjara. Here comes the rush attack though, and just like you said, Vicky, getting Ribbon Girl up against the wall and almost had a juggle opportunity, but missed right there.
Yeah, that's actually what the springs allow you to do. It allows you to extend your combos, and it allows you to apply more pressure on the opponent.
Ribbon Girl charging both those Slap-O-Manders, doing some damage with that fire element on Ninjara. Here comes the rush attack, countering the throw attempt. D1, how do you like that read from Ribbon Girl and Skyward Wing?
That was absolutely smart. And watch how Skyward Wing also uses the trampoline to get more height with Ribbon Girl.
Skyward Wing, this victory could go a long way. Gonna get the game point and end the match in the semifinals. Ninjara less than 25% health. Oh, that throw is gonna be negated by the Slamamanders. Very impressive. Ribbon Girl, Skyward Wing trying to get the victory. Meanwhile, Ninjara with the grab and the throw. Ribbon Girl gets the throw, and that's gonna do it. Knockout, round to Skyward Wing. Game to Skyward Wing. Match to Skyward Wing. Advances to the finals, D1.
And that's also a win for the players that won from the floor today here at E3 2017. All of the professionals are actually gone.
All of the professionals are eliminated. That means anybody can be a champion when it comes to ARMS. And Vicky, you look at the fact that we saw Ribbon Girl using those double Slapamanders and just coming from the left, coming from the right, and also going in the middle as well, too.
She was taking advantage of being able to maneuver herself around Ninjara and then slap him with the Slapamanders, taking advantage of the wide range that the Slapamanders hit on Ninjara.
Ninjara not necessarily disappearing into a cloud of smoke, but will for this competition, unfortunately. Very nicely done by Supergirl Kells. We appreciate the effort. Let's take a look at the updated bracket because we have our first competitor advancing to the finals. That is Skyward Wing advancing to the grand finals. That'll be a best 3 out of 5 when we look at how he advances to the finals. And really just the use of Ribbon Girl, D1, and the ability to just jump in the air, but not spamming it necessarily. Not always just jumping in the air, but using it when it matters most.
Yeah, definitely really hard for players to get a read on because at times you want to go for an attack on Ribbon Girl, and if she's grounded already and you try to counter her when she's in the air, you're just going to take an arm to the face. And at other times, when you try to attack her in the air, she'll immediately jump out of the way with her second jump, or even the third one, or an air dash.
That was the first semifinal. Let's get to our second and last semifinal. That will pair Gaming with Me versus Zerk. So please come to the stage. And Vicky, we saw Zerk so proficient with Twintelle. It'll be interesting to see what arms combination he goes with. And when you're Twintelle, we saw that ability to slow down time for that ever short amount of time. How can you utilize that when you're trying to counter?
We actually saw it earlier in the last game we had with Zerk, where Zerk jumped in the air, hovered a little bit with the yellow ring around him, and when an incoming punch was heading towards him, he was able to maneuver himself around and kind of dash away from that punch.
Zerk going with Twintelle, but then we saw Min Min, D1, controlled by Gaming with Me, that just had no issues unwrapping Master Mummy. So now you've got Twintelle, who's not necessarily the most mobile, but a very interesting attribute she can use, versus Min Min, that is a bit of a wild card at times.
Oh, yes. And, you know, Zerk definitely has 2 air dashes in between the usage of Starstruck, which is her ability to slow down attacks. So keep an eye open to see how he's going to be able to deal with this Min Min. If this Min Min manages to get 1 grab on Zerk, that's going to be a free dragon charge on the left arm.
Zerk and Twintelle going some double chillas. Meanwhile, the Megawatt and the Dragon for Min Min and Gaming with Me. Even battle at this point. Min Min with a slight advantage. However, Twintelle dropping to about 60% health, and Min Min just getting those punches with that Megawatt. But here comes the throw from Twintelle. Gonna knock Min Min around, and here come the pillars in the stage once again, Vicky. We've seen the players do a fine job of dodging as the rush attack gonna be blocked by Twintelle.
That rush attack being blocked, unfortunately, but Twintelle is about to get her very own rush attack, and with such little health, this may be very crucial to win the match.
Twintelle with a double charge Chilla gonna freeze Min Min and then land a couple more punches after that. Rush attack ready to go for Twintelle. Twintelle trying to jump up above those raised pillars. Meanwhile, Min Min trying to counter from afar with that Megawatt and that Dragon the Kid. But there's the slowdown right there, D1, as Twintelle counters in the middle. This is gonna come down. Here comes the rush attack from Twintelle, and that is a pivotal KO from Twintelle, D1.
Zerk actually bringing it back the entire time. He was playing patient behind the pillars. I thought, wait a second, if this person is losing, why would you stay patient behind the pillars? You'll give the opponent an opportunity to win. But he actually turned it around with some well-placed punches from the Chilla.
Here comes the rush attack from Min Min, and Min Min connecting with that rush attack at D1. You talk about the decisiveness and the delay of that Dragon that could be really deceptive as it shoots at kind of an angle when you launch it out there.
And the great thing about having the Megawatt complement that makes it difficult for opponents who want to avoid the laser from that Dragon.
And Vicky, how critical are the charge punches for Twintelle to get a chance to freeze Min Min like we see right there?
That's actually the reason why you would always want to charge your attack, not only for the extra damage, but for that way the attributes could land as well.
Min Min unleashing the second rush attack of the match, and that's going to do some major damage to Twintelle. Meanwhile, Min Min at about 40% health. Twintelle connecting with another freeze. And the grab right there, D1. That's going to do some major damage. We're down to the last couple punches here. Twintelle going to do the rush attack, but no, countered by the Dragon D1. Twintelle trying to go with the throw. Misses there. Dragon unleashed by Min Vicky.
So I want to say at that very moment, Zerk was trying to avoid the Megawatt, and because he tried to avoid the Megawatt, he got hit by the Dragon instead.
1-1 in the rounds. Winner of this round will take the first game point of our semifinal matchup at D1. That Dragon is very hard to predict, and if you can throw it out and read where your opponent's going, you can always keep them guessing.
Yes, also if it is charged, he's able to get a knockdown with the Dragon, while the Megawatt actually shocks the opponent because it's an electric attribute.
Zerk changing up the arms, going to go with the Parasol and the Chiller, try and knock down Min Min. Meanwhile, Min Min going with the two arms that continue to carry her to victory. Going to connect with the Dragon right there. And Twintelle trying to read the Dragon, gets the throw on Min Min. Both characters still not very close to a rush attack. Parasol going to get a light hit on Min Min right here. Meanwhile, Twintelle connecting with a charged Parasol. Not a whole lot of cover right there, but here it comes. Twintelle coming up from above, getting the charge hit with the Chilla and the throw, Vicky.
And they were able to get that follow-up because of the fact he charged his attack to get the chill attribute.
Min Min connecting on the third rush attack we've seen in this short amount of time, but Twintelle has a rush attack charge ready to go, and Min Min doesn't have a whole lot of health to withstand it. Twintelle trying to read and find that opportunistic time to do that rush attack. This point for the game could go to Zerk if it can connect with a couple more punches. Meanwhile, Min Min trying to duck for cover around using the Dragon. The Mega, oh, Twintelle. D1 just being very methodic about ducking behind cover, popping up, and using those aerial attacks to keep Min Min at bay.
Really patient play right there from Zerk. The fact that he actually held on to his rush gave him a psychological advantage over his opponent. The entire time he could just do whatever he want until he noticed that he was open, and then he could cancel with the rush.
Zerk getting the victory, and Vicky, it was interesting because once those pillars came up, it made it very difficult for Gaming With Me to use the Dragon, because now you had to launch the Dragon up over the pillars, and sometimes it wouldn't clear a spot that had two pillars.
That's why he wasn't able to take the advantage of moving forward and closing in that gap between his opponent and forcing him to go one direction using the Dragon to do so.
Twintelle sticking with the Parasol and Chilla. Meanwhile, Min Min, that Megawatt and that Dragon once again as we're in Master Mummy's level. And keep an eye in the middle of this stage. Once enough damage has happened to the middle of this stage, a trampoline will appear, and D1, you don't want to end up on that trampoline.
Oh yeah, because once you get on that trampoline, you won't have access to block. You can air dash, but if you are in the air, you're more susceptible to getting hit.
Twintelle at about 75% health. Min Min at about 60 at this point right now as Twintelle connects with the charged Parasol. Going to use that ability to slow down time, but no! A throw missed by Twintelle, and then Min Min connecting on a throw. And here comes the rush attack from Min Min. However, Zerk doing a fine job of blocking that and taking very insignificant damage. Rush attack ready to go for Twintelle. Twintelle most likely going to try and charge that Chilla, then connect with the rush attack. Meanwhile, Volt Punch's charge slows down time, knocks back Min Min with that Parasol. And that Parasol really coming in handy for Zerk in this second round here, Vicky.
And that is why we saw Zerk doing exactly that. He's trying to hold on to his charge arms and slow down the arms coming at him. That is why he keeps getting all these follow-ups on Min Min. Although he has nowhere to hide, he doesn't need to because he's pressuring his opponent so well, holding onto shield, only taking 5 per chip damage.
Zerk doing a fine job of blocking the rush attack, meanwhile being ever so patient with the rush attack that he has. Meanwhile, Min Min just trying to keep the distance, use that Dragon to throw off Twintelle. Try and guess, here comes that rush attack. Gonna connect on, oh! 2 hits is all Zerk needed. And what's the strategy in maybe waiting until your opponent doesn't have much health to use that rush attack? That way you don't have to use the entire rush attack to get the KO.
I think what we see here from Zerk is that when he has a rush attack, he'll wait for the opponent to go for a dash, and then he'll predict where they go and intercept them with the rush attack.
Zerk is 1 round away from advancing to the finals. Meanwhile, Skyward Wing can certainly use a couple of victories here to keep his tournament hopes alive. However, Zerk and Twintelle getting the early advantage on Min Min and Skyward Wing. That's going to get knocked back right there. Excuse me, Gaming With Me. Meanwhile, Min Min using a charged rush attack. Going to unleash that on Twintelle. However, Twintelle yet again, D1, blocking those rush attacks, and that's been the difference in this game.
Yeah, and every time you see Zerk get a knockdown on Min Min, that Dragon charge goes away, which makes it really easy for Zerk because Zerk doesn't have to worry about getting knocked down from a charged laser from the Dragon because it's a fire attribute, which makes it hard because Min Min could apply more pressure.
I also want to make notice that whenever Zerk tries to throw out a punch, he always throws out the Chilla first, so that way whenever he gets the ice stun on him, he could follow up with either the Parasol or a grab.
Twintelle with the rush attack ready to go. It'll be interesting to see when Zerk deploys this. Will he do the same thing that he did last round? Meanwhile, Min Min trying to throw a 1-2 of the Megawatt and the Dragon Connect. Here comes a rush attack blocked yet again by Twintelle. Here comes Zerk with the throw and the rush attack. No, D1 fakes with the throw and then counters with the rush attack.
What did I tell you? You can just go for a grab, and if the opponent tries to dodge, fake him out with the rush cancel into the rush attack.
What a bait and switch, and that will guide Zerk into the grand finals, a 2-0 game victory in those rounds over Gaming With Me. Gaming With Me, thank you so much again for joining us.